Right, folks, this is a new podcast from the two mics, and I'm going to give you old energy boy MG to introduce it.
Yeah, we've edited out all the nonsense from Mike Porky Parry, so it might be a bit shorter than usual.
Ha, 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 ha.
Good afternoon, I'm Mike Graham, he's Mike Parry, you're listening to the two mics and we're still holding the fort for Hawksby and Jacobs. Roberto Martinez isn't quitting and he says he wants to be judged over 3 years instead of 3 months. Meanwhile, it's emerged that Mark Hughes is the new favourite to take over the manager's job at Goodison. We'll be getting the Porkmeister's views on the latest twists and turns at Everton, the most underachieving club in the Premier League. We'll be hearing why meditation can help keep you young, and we've got Olympian and former world record holder Steve Backley coming in as well. Plus, it's the Porky Quiz today, and the expert subject of the week, of course, is Oliver Cromwell. You're listening to the two mics with me, Mike Graham, and Mike Parry on Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined, as we speak, by a very resplendent-looking Mr. Mike Porky Parry. Very good afternoon to you, Mr. Parry.
Very good afternoon to you, Mike. And who's told you, then, that Mark Hughes is the favourite to become the next Everton manager? Who told you that?
He's been installed. He's been installed in the newspapers as the new favourite to take over at Goodison. Well, that's what the rumour mill is suggesting. I want to know who these people are. Well, we'll be finding out because we'll be talking to Peter McPartland, who's the host of Toffee TV. Okay. And he is now the front runner, and it could well be that you will end up having the fantastically talented new manager at Everton coming from Stoke.
He's only the front runner in your head. He's only the front runner in your head.
Well, it's not just my idea.
Let me just explain here, our good pal John Cross, and by the way, I helped Johnny, promote his book on Wenger. Very successful book.
Particularly in Korea.
Got as far as Pyongyang and all that kind of stuff, great
right.
tome and all that kind of stuff. He writes a story this morning. He said, I never want Stoke boss to take the place of Martinez.
He doesn't often get it wrong, John, does he?
John never gets it wrong. But what I'm saying is, because they want him doesn't mean he's the favourite. Somebody else could, suddenly sprint forward.
Right, what have you heard?
What have I heard?
Well, you're the guy that's got his ear to the ground when it comes to Everton, aren't you?
I'm not at liberty.
I mean, you're the man that has all the contacts inside the boardroom at Everton, aren't you?
I'm not at liberty. What I'm saying is, it is at the moment a very open race, OK?
So you've now admitted that Roberto Martinez is on his way out?
No, I'm not admitting that whatsoever.
Well, you've just said it's an open race.
I don't know that.
Is there a vacancy or not?
I'm saying that it's an open race between a lot of managers and their agents getting hold of Everton to say, by the way, if you're looking for a new manager over the summer...
Should there be a vacancy?
Should there be a vacancy? If you're looking for a new manager over the summer, my boy's available. That's basically what they're saying,
Well,
okay?
Did you not see the Roberto Martinez press conference?
Of course I did.
Well, he says he's not quitting.
And I absolutely accept that he's not quitting.
So there can't be a vacancy then?
Well, there could be a vacancy if it's not his decision.
Really?
I'm not saying that I know whether it is or not. I don't know. No, of course I'm not saying that. I don't say things like that. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of speculation going on about a situation which at the moment...
Can't you get some information from the inside? I mean, we are on a national radio station, the biggest sports radio station in the world.
Yes.
Don't you feel duty-bound to inform the listeners with your inside knowledge what's actually going on at Everton?
I can tell you, at the moment, the situation is...
What?
Neutral.
Well, you mean nothing's happening?
Well, that's exactly what's happening. Nothing.
That sounds to me as if that's a bit of a case of negligence. Because if I was on the board of Everton, I would be saying we need to do something about the managerial situation.
Yeah, fortunately,
we need to find a new manager.
Fortunately, you're not on the board of Everton. And quite frankly, if I were you, I wouldn't even have ambitions to get on the board of Waterlooville, my local team down on the south coast who are playing tonight.
Do you know who they're playing?
Yes.
Who?
Havant, isn't it?
What?
Wasn't it?
Havant.
Who's it?
Havant you.
No,
it is not Havant.
Who is it?
It's Havant and Waterlooville, isn't that the name of the team?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
they can't be playing Havant.
Well, no, exactly, no. But I mean,
could they be playing Waterlooville?
No.
They're playing a team from Cornwall.
Yeah, Cornwall.
No,
they don't play teams from Cornwall.
Truro City.
Truro City.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them, to be honest.
You've never heard of Truro, Cornwall?
Now, listen,
I thought you used to go to Cornwall.
What?
I thought you used to go to Cornwall.
I used to go to St Ives. I used to stay in the most expensive hotel in St Ives.
Funny you should say that because Oliver Cromwell used to go to St Ives.
What?
Oliver Cromwell used to go to St Ives.
You mad?
No, he did.
He never went to St Ives in his life.
Yeah, he lived in St Ives.
You idiot. That was in Huntingdonshire.
What?
Not in Cornwall, you
went to St Ives.
St Ives, Huntingdonshire.
Huntingdonshire?
Yes.
You sure you don't mean Cambridgeshire?
Well, it was Huntingdonshire until it became Cambridgeshire.
Oh,
do
really?
you know who else lived there?
Who in St Ives?
Yeah, John Major.
Is that St Ives in Cornwall?
No, in Huntingdonshire.
Huntingdonshire.
John Major lived there. And in fact, it was the home in St Ives in Huntingdonshire that John Major stayed at and had his medical dental treatment when he was being asked by Mrs Thatcher's supporters to come back to Parliament and rally the troops behind her Somehow he never made it.
Ludicrously irrelevant piece of information.
Anyway, listen, I'll tell you what I'll talk to you about.
Who cares about John Major's teeth?
Well, I mean, they were very important.
Anyway, are you going to that Waterlooville game tonight?
I can't make it, unfortunately.
Huh? Why not? Anything else to do? We finish here at 4 o'clock. You can get down there.
No, I can't. I've got pressing matters.
Matters such as.
I want to tell you this. I want to tell you this. This coming bank holiday, which is next Monday.
It is Bank Holiday Monday.
Except that we don't recognise it. It's May Day, I think. Yeah. We don't recognise bank holidays here because we simply have a mission to provide a service to our millions of listeners.
Well,
do you agree?
I mean, we are a 24/7 radio station,
certainly.
right? I mean, we never stop.
Yeah.
We never sleep.
Now,
and plus, there's a massive game of football that night.
Massive game of football.
Tottenham-Chelsea.
Is it Tottenham-Chelsea?
Chelsea-Tottenham. Yeah.
Chelsea-Tottenham. That's it, yeah. Now, what I want to say to you is this.
Go on.
I have been paying attention to the information coming into my information machines in my office.
It's always a good idea, that.
It is.
How many information machines have you got in your office?
And it is suspected...
Is one of them a fax machine?
A number.
Have you got a fax machine still?
No. Oh, actually, I have, but I haven't received anything on it for about 3 years. And I still pay for the line. Do you know what? Last time I got a BT bill...
Why?
I don't know, but it costs about,
Do you still leave the fax machine, on?
Yeah.
Sort of buzzing?
Yeah.
Waiting for a fax?
Yeah.
And one hasn't come for 3 years?
No, that's right,
What was the last fax you got, then?
Well, I don't know. I can't remember. But the thing is, it's not that mad because it's an outgoing telephone line as well. You see what I mean?
Well, you've already got one of those.
Yes, I know, but I use it in case I'm waiting for a very important call overseas on the other one. Anyway, listen, let me tell you this.
Very often.
Let me tell you this.
The guy ringing you up to say, I've got you some more of those teeth whitening strips.
No. By the way, I had a lot of response to that last night. A lot of people thanking me for pointing out that if you put those on your teeth, you lose all the enamel and your teeth drop out.
Well, that's not specifically to those those ones on
now,
their own,
let me just talk to you about Bank Holiday Monday. My information machine revealed to me there will be 25 million cars trying to get somewhere in the 48 hours between sort of Friday and... No, it's 72 hours, actually, between Friday and Monday this weekend, OK?
Well, Bank Holiday Monday, a lot of people have Monday off.
Right, I would say this.
I don't think it's going to be particularly nice weather, though.
I would say this. Anybody who's mad enough to go driving around the country on a Bank Holiday weekend...
Will you be driving into work?
When?
On Monday.
It depends on whether or not I'm satisfied with the provision of public transport or not. OK?
Right.
Now, let me just tell you this, please. And this is important. Anybody who's driving around on a bank holiday weekend gets stuck in a traffic jam. Do you know what I say?
What do you say?
I say tough luck. If you're stupid enough to get in your car and drive around a bank holiday weekend, you deserve to be stuck in a traffic jam.
That's very unfair.
I hope your engine overheats.
That's very unfair.
I hope your tyres go flat from waiting in traffic jams.
You're a very malevolent figure,
You should not be on the road. It is a ridiculous thing to do.
That's not fair, because a lot of people can only go for a day out on that particular day.
Well, they should find some other time. You should go...
No, they can't.
You should go driving around the country on weekends in November when it's cold, not bank holiday weekends.
What's wrong with weekends in May? Or April.
Because everybody
June.
else is on the road.
Well,
now,
so weekends in November are the only time you can drive around?
Well, I'm saying that it's more sensible to do it when there's not as much traffic on the road.
But the point is, if the weather's nice, people will always, as soon as the sun comes out, people will get in their cars and start driving to the coast. That's what they do. It's part of being English.
Well, they're mad. In fact, if they do, they should do it at 3 a.m. in the morning. That's the only time worth driving in this country.
You see, you walk around in life... No, hang on. You walk around in life thinking that everyone is like you.
Yeah.
No responsibilities.
People should be like me.
Nobody else living with them. No pets to worry about.
People should be like me.
No children to think about. No spouse, nothing at all, right?
People should be more like me.
No, if people were like you, the human race would have died out, would have become extinct about 4,000 years ago.
Now, the other thing...
Because you haven't procreated. There wouldn't be anybody around.
Now,
It'd be very quiet then, wouldn't it?
Well, there's a difference between procreating and having the morals of an alley cat, chasing...
married women.
Unfortunate women.
Chasing
unfortunate women around and trying to impose yourself upon them.
There's no point in having an inferiority complex just because I've had 4 beautiful children.
What I want to say to you is this. If there's 25 million cars driving around over the next 3 days...
Is this a figure you've plucked out of the air?
No, it came to me from my motoring organisation sources. Yeah.
Was it from Edmund King?
Not from Edmund King himself, but those sort of people. Now, what I'm saying is 25 million cars. Now, do you know what I think we should do? I think now we should introduce a new law where anybody with a car more than sort of 5 years old,
you're the Kim Jong-un of Talk Sport, aren't you? You love introducing new laws and making people not do things, banning everything.
Which is in a trashy sort of situation. For instance, like your second car, which has still got a hole in the bonnet after the coal lorry.
It has got a hole in the bonnet. It was not hit by a coal lorry.
It's got a hole in the bonnet.
It has not got a hole. It's got a slight dent.
It's got a huge gash in the bonnet.
It's got a slight dent.
Do the windscreen wipers work yet?
Yes.
Oh, you fixed them?
On the Land Rover, yes.
Oh, that's on your other one. Of course, that's fallen to bits as well.
I've had a report they might be playing up again.
Anyway,
it's not the wipers, by the way; it's the washers.
Trashy heaps of junk like your second car should be immediately crushed. we should, because then we make more room on the roads.
There's no time.
Then we make more room on the roads for decent cars like mine. The last thing I want
a snob, aren't you?
Is some heap of junk.
How much did you pay for your car?
43,000.
You're a plank.
The last thing I want
You're an idiot.
Is some heap of junk ahead of me on the A3 as I'm going to my seaside abode.
Speeding.
Okay? No, falling
You're
to bits.
Speeding.
I don't want a rusty old exhaust pipe falling into the road, which could damage one of my very expensive tires on my expensive car.
Man of the people.
So yours and your ilks, people who drive around in heaps of junk like that, which half of which are probably, maybe not even roadworthy.
Do you mind shutting up for a while?
Should be immediately crushed. I would call in that guy from...
he should be crushed.
I'd call in that guy from Goldfinger, who did the hat job.
Odd job.
Because
hat job.
The people... The people who got in the back of his car...
Look at the time.
People got back of his car. They didn't last long, did they? They got crushed.
They did get crushed.
I think that's a good way to treat old...
Now, here's a good way to end this particular part of the show. Reg has tweeted into the two lines, how far could Steve Backley throw Porky if we asked nicely? It's a very good point, that. He's going to be coming on a little bit later on. It's Porky Quiz time as well. This is TalkSport. Funny enough, we're not going to be talking about Watford this morning. We're going to be talking about Everton. Of course, that's their song as well, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah.
But nobody ever plays it when we talk about Watford. But anyway, that's just a little bit of a sucking up process to the producer. But anyway, you might have seen Roberto Martinez's press conference this morning.
Yep.
Says he wants to be judged on 3 years rather than 3 months. I don't know where he ever got the idea that 3 months have been only the 3 months that have been bad, because the whole season has been appalling. Let's have a listen to what he said about the players.
Any player that represents Everton has to reach the level that we showed in the second half in the semi-final. It's not good just to go through motions or expect that you're going to have the opportunity to represent Everton for the rest of your career. As a player, whoever's on the pitch needs to reach a level of intensity, of responsibility, of drive, of quality that we showed in the second half. And that's going to be the case in the next 4 games. Whoever's going to be on the pitch for different reasons. There are certain players that deserve an opportunity. There are certain players that they need to show what they can do. It's just, as a team, we need to show that sort of level in every single minute that we play from now to the end of the season. And clearly, every position in the table matters. Every point matters. And our standards as a team are extremely, extremely important.
Some gobbledygook, that, isn't it? Absolute nonsense. Now, let's talk to Peter McPartland. He knows a little bit more about what's going on at Everton, perhaps, than you do.
Yes.
And he'll tell us what he thinks about Roberto Martinez's future and whether he thinks that Mark Hughes may indeed be in the firing line. Peter from Toffee TV. Very good afternoon to you, Peter.
Good afternoon, gents.
Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you for joining us.
For joining us. There was an awful lot of sort of, I suppose, speculation when it was found out that Roberto Martinez was having a press conference. Some people thought it might be to announce his resignation. It wasn't to announce his resignation, quite the opposite. What did you make of his performance, first of all, Peter?
Well, it's also nonsense again from him. He just talks nonsense. And to be honest, he shouldn't have the right to resign as the manager of Everton Football Club. He should have been sacked by now. And I think fans are sick and tired of him, but more sick and tired of Bill Kenwright and Fahad Mashiri for not manning up and getting rid of him, because this is just getting pathetic now. He said last week was the defining week, the Merseyside derby and obviously the semi-final. He failed on both of them, and I think he needs to go. And if he doesn't go soon, the fans are going to start walking out. And again, this is another episode of the failed Bill Kenwright chairmanship of Everton Football Club.
Yeah, Pete, I'm sorry, I have to totally disagree with you on every issue there. Are you saying now that Mr. Mashiri's... Mr. Mashiri's just come in, so let's have a panic move and let's, sack the manager and get somebody else in. It would be a panic move. It would be a panic move. If you want to replace the manager, Peter, then it should be done in a rational and reasoned way, and you look at all the options. What are you going to do? Sack him and put in a temporary manager? I mean, what a crazy idea. And as for Mr. Kenwright, we wouldn't be the club that we are today without Mr. Kenwright over the last 10 years. You know that, I know that, and it's very, very, feeble-minded to go around blaming Mr. Kenwright for anything.
Hang on, Mike, stop shouting for a start. You only go to the match when you get free tickets. You only go to the match when you get free tickets off, and so don't be lecturing me about Everton.
Peter, withdraw that.
Actually, that's not true,
Peter, withdraw that.
Peter, that isn't true because I've seen Porky's bill for the season ticket that he buys.
Thank you, Peter. How much does your season ticket cost, Peter?
My season ticket costs £500, and I go every single home game. Where are you? Because I have never seen you at Goodison Park.
I'm not going to be there looking for you. Believe me, mine costs $2,800, and I live 300 miles away. Okay.
So what? Big deal.
Hey, Peter, hey, hang on, Peter, this is not about Mr. Mike Porky Parry, right? As much as you may want to make it into that.
I don't take free tickets, Peter.
This is about...
Withdraw that... I do not.
No, he
withdraw that,
Peter,
withdraw that allegation.
Peter, he does not take free tickets. I can tell you that because I've been to a couple of games with him and we paid for them. Anyway, the argument is not about Mike Parry. And the trouble with what is happening at Everton is exactly what you're showing us, is that fans start arguing amongst themselves.
Oh, hang on. I'm going to go back to something Mike just said about Bill Kenwright. Bill Kenwright has overseen one of the worst tenures ever at Everton Football Club. He's been at the club for 17 years, and his standards are rock bottom. I'm an Everton fan.
It sounds like a broken record, this.
Yes, because of Bill Kenwright, this is where we are.
Yeah, and did you want to be a Leeds United? Do you want to be a Leeds United? Do you want to be a Nottingham Forest? Do you want to be a Portsmouth?
Why can't we be a Man City? Why can't we be a Chelsea?
Because we haven't had a billionaire owner. We haven't had a billionaire owner, and they have. Sorry?
We have now.
Well, yeah, for about 3 weeks. For about 3 weeks, and now you're saying we transform ourselves into Manchester City financially.
All right, Peter, let me ask you another question. Peter. A story this morning suggests that Mark Hughes might be in the firing line for the job at Everton. Would you like to see Mark Hughes there?
Well, this fella's got to be sacked first, and someone's got to have the guts to sack him, and it certainly isn't Bill Kenwright. So Bill Kenwright has to leave the club first. Mashiri has to take over, and then something has to be done about the manager because it's simply not good enough, and it's getting dragged on, and we're having conversations like this, where other clubs look at us and think we're laughing stocks. And the fans just want rid of this man, and they want rid of Bill Kenwright.
No, they don't. They don't, Peter. You want rid, but you're a very small minority, Peter. I don't see...
We're not a small minority at all.
You are.
Stop shouting over the top of me. We are not a small minority.
You are. You're a very small minority.
We're not. You think we're the small minority. We're the fans that go to the game every week, home and away. We are not the small minority.
Yes,
we are the minority. We are the majority who want Bill Kenwright.
You're not, honestly.
We are.
I'm telling you. I don't go...
Hang on. Look, we don't want to just turn this into a backwards and forwards toing and fro. We're trying to get somewhere here, Peter. Right, so, for example, if Mashiri now... If Mashiri does... Yeah, you can in a sec. If Mashiri can take over, which apparently is the plan anyway, his shareholding will go up to over 50%.
Yeah.
So technically soon he will be in charge. You know, if you had the opportunity to sit down with him and say, what should Everton do now, and forget about Bill Kenwright for the moment, what would you say to him?
He needs to have a complete overhaul at the club. He needs to be the number one man, and he needs to go and find the best manager he can find to run Everton Football Club. Not the likes of Mark Hughes, the very, very best that he can get.
Jose Mourinho?
You know what? If that's the best man out there, I would go and ask him.
So would I.
I would go and ask him, and then I would go and ask. But I would start my way down the list, but I would not start in the middle and look at people like Mark Hughes.
I totally agree.
I would start at the very best. Well, that's fine, and I agree with you on that point. We have to go look for the very best, and the very best is not what Everton have been doing for the last 20 years, and this is something that needs to be a change at Everton Football Club. We have to start acting like Everton Football Club, puff our chest out and say we want the very best, and that's not what we've been doing.
But we've got money now, Peter. We never had money before now. We've got money now, and things could change. We hope they do.
Well, we have got money. We have got money, but, you know, that's because of Mr. Mashiri coming in, and hopefully that's where I want to see. That's where I want to see Everton going. I want to see Everton going in that direction, not just in this place at the moment where we're sort of in limbo. I've been sitting on social media all week for the last few weeks, talking to friends, talking to people I do the shows with, and honest to God, the fans have never been so low because they just can't understand why the manager has not been sacked yet.
Mr. Mashiri is not even yet the majority shareholder.
Yeah,
the minute he does, I tell you, over the summer, things will change.
Yeah, Peter, listen, thank you very much.
That's the biggest problem.
Peter, you guys should do a show on your own and see how long you can argue for. Peter McPartland from Toffee TV seems to have a slightly different view of Bill Kenwright than Mr. Parry does. But surely the point is as well, in the short term, and I'll leave you with this thought, it's not about finding the great great manager and finding, some form of success for the next season. It's making sure that you keep the players that you've got, who might all want to leave and go to a bigger club who are in the Champions League. Yeah,
I agree with Peter in one way. The sooner we move on a new manager, the better, because then the players who you're talking about, and we all know they are, the 3-star players we've got, if Jose Mourinho to be appointed the manager tomorrow, would probly stay.
They probably would. We got loads more Everton talk to come, but we got boxing chat coming up as well. We've also, of course, got the Porky Quiz on Oliver Cromwell, another egomaniac, hated and reviled throughout the land. This is Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. There's lots going on coming up. We're going to be talking to Gareth A. Davis. A lot of tweets to read out, though. Quite a lot of people agreeing with you, and quite a lot of people also agreeing with Peter.
Let's make it clear
on the whole Everton front. Okay.
Let's make it clear that there's no misunderstanding here. When he was saying, people want him out. Yeah. I'm saying that I agree there's an underswell for Roberto Martinez to be replaced, but there is not a majority underswell for Mr. Kenwright.
There may not be, but I would say, given the reaction on Twitter and on social media and other forums and on text and things like that, I mean, for example, Eric says this, I agree with Peter on Everton. Bill Kenwright is not wanted, neither is Martinez. Get them out ASAP. On the other hand, Lee from Skelmersdale says, I'm a Blue and I totally agree with Porky. Kenwright has been a saviour for Everton. So, it seems to me to be relatively sort of split down the middle. Now, what about some of these people who would like to comment on your man of the people status and your very expensive £43,000 car?
Well, that's not my fault, you see.
Beanie Tony says, 43 grand on a car, more than the price of some houses in Immingham.
Yes, Immingham. It's a good place, Immingham.
Andy says,
snow up there
I might go for a nice drive to Hunstantonshire at the weekend. But where is it exactly, Porky?
No, it's Huntingdonshire or Huntingdonshire.
Bill says, there's your man of the people, MG. Get off the road, plebs. I need to get my expensive castle in my Merc. What a complete snob. And here's one from David. He says, I take my hat off to you, MG, because you must have a full-time headache listening to that plank all day.
I don't think so.
Which is very, very good to see somebody who's actually got... and loads of other tweets about cars and things like that.
Indeed. Talking about cars, by the way, talking about cars. Now, I know because you've got an old wreck, and I'm not being rude, you admit yourself it's an old wreck.
Well, it's not an old wreck, actually. It goes very well. It's got 138,000 miles, right?
Yeah.
It's an old M-Class Mercedes.
Yes.
It's built like a tank.
Yeah, but when
I'm putting it in for a service, actually, week after next.
I wouldn't bother.
Why?
Why spend money on a service? I mean, let me just tell you.
No, because it still needs to be serviced. You can't just run a car. You see, the trouble with you is you think you buy a car, right, you get ripped off to some ridiculous degree because you just get told by people at Mercedes, this is what you have to do and this is what you have to pay.
It doesn't need a service till 10,000 miles.
I know, but when you have your 10,000 mile service, they'll just say, just come into the place and we'll give you a free cup of coffee and we'll polish your shoes for you. And we'll polish your shoes for you.
Service is free. It comes as part of the deal.
Well, so the service is free.
But you see, you've got to remember...
But if there's anything, you'll be emptying your pockets, trust me, when you go in to service that car.
It's such a brilliant car, it probably doesn't need anything doing, you see.
That's what you think.
Now, what I was going to say to you is, I don't know why you get your car serviced. Now, the other day, I was standing out here...
you service a car. If you don't service a car, it grinds to a halt.
Well, not an old wreck. An old wreck just eventually falls to pieces, and you're wasting money spending service money on it. Anyway...
Well, how am I wasting money? Because as much money as I'm about to waste, I paid £2,000 for the car, right? Yeah. So I've got £41,000 to go.
And this is just your runaround, in fairness, isn't it?
Yeah, before I've even got to the point where you actually have spent the money to buy the car without spending anything else.
Now, I was standing outside the front door of TalkSport Towers the other day when you pulled up, OK? I just happened to be there a few seconds before
That's because you hang around waiting for me, isn't it?
No, I don't hang around.
You hang around waiting for me because you're frightened to come in on your own.
Oh, yeah,
you are.
I'm terrified,
You're frightened to come in on your own.
Yeah, I've been here at TalkSport like 18 years or something, and I'm frightened to walk through the door. Now, so anyway, as you pulled up, I didn't realise it was you. I thought, good God, what's
your
that?
eyesight going?
No, not my eyesight. My ears are very, very good. And I heard the clanking noise coming from somewhere. No.
And what did your incredible knowledge of motor cars tell you that the problem was?
It told me I think your big end is dodgy.
No.
Right?
Incorrect.
No, I think it is.
Incorrect.
I think you've
One of the reasons I'm putting it in for
I think you've got a knackered big end.
No, one of the things... it's better than have a knackered big end than one that never works at all, would be my argument to you. But the point about the Mercedes...
Is that some kind of... Is that some kind of...
Work it out for yourself.
I think that's a despicable insinuation.
I've got some news for you on the medical front, actually, which I'll tell you about a little bit later on.
I'm dying
some
for that.
Some documents have come into my possession from Dr. Banner's office.
And Dr. Graham's going to interpret them, are you?
Yes, that's exactly what we're going to do.
You wouldn't have any
No, the point about one of the reasons why I'm putting the car in to be looked at is because the last time I took it to the guy who fixes up my Mercedes whenever there's anything wrong with it, he said, by the way, there's a sound that's telling me that the water pump in your car may need replacing at some point soon.
Yeah, well, that means the engine will pack up.
So I think that's what needs to be fixed. I think that's what's making the noise.
So you agree it's making a noise?
It does sometimes, yeah,
but
not all the time.
It's a terrible clattering noise.
Not all the
big
time.
end going. It
it's
could
a
be
kind
a crankshaft.
It's kind of a chugging noise.
Could be a crankshaft. Could be your what's the belt called? The
belt.
The belt on the front. What's that called?
The fan belt.
Fan belt. That's right. They have fan belts anymore.
No, they don't have them anymore.
How do you know?
Because I know that.
Do you know that?
Anyone who's got half a brain.
Can I tell you that?
Knows anything about cars.
Can I tell you my car is so sophisticated that when you open the bonnet,
more sophisticated than you, I imagine.
Not that I ever have done. When you open the bonnet, right, you can't see anything except a black plastic cover.
But you've never opened the bonnet.
Do you know that you can't?
You've never opened the bonnet.
No, I've never opened the bonnet.
So how do you know what's under it?
Because I opened the last bonnet and it was the same on
the last bonnet.
Yeah. Now what
how
I'm
do
going
you know
to say
it's the same if you haven't opened this one?
Do you know I can't even? Do you know how I?
You can't even reach the bonnet.
I bet you in your old heap of a wreck. I bet you've got one of these dipstick things, haven't you?
No.
You haven't?
Everybody's got a dipstick.
No, they haven't.
Yes, they have.
No, I haven't got a dipstick.
Yes, you have.
I have not.
Yes, you have.
I have not.
I promise you have a dipstick.
Right, let me tell you. What happens is I get busy on my computer in the car and I, eventually work out how much oil have I got and I ask it to show me.
You ask it to show you?
Yeah, and then it shows me.
Well, how do you ask it? Do you ask it nicely? Do you speak to the car?
No, you idiot. I press the right button. And then it shows...
You can't even work a phone.
It shows...
You can't even work a phone.
It shows a file with blackness up to the level where the oil is. Right. And so if I need it, I pull into a garage somewhere, tell somebody to sort the oil out.
Yeah.
That's all I have to do.
And you have no idea how much they put in.
All this idea of a dipstick in a rag. Now, listen, just before we get off cars...
Do you think there's a part in the engine where they pour the oil, or does that all happen by magic?
I have no idea, and I don't wish to know. It's not.
That's where the dipstick is.
My skills are vocal; they are not mechanical. Now then,
we haven't got any time for this.
No, just one thing before we go.
Yeah.
And this is serious. I get my car washed at places like Asda, supermarkets, and all that.
Really?
Yeah, and the guys who do it are usually of sort of Eastern European origin. They're very good and very efficient. And I pay them way over the odds. But
why do you pay them over the odds?
Well, because I like a good job.
It makes you feel important, doesn't it?
No.
Yeah, it does. You do it because you want to show off.
No, I like them to spend a lot of attention on the wheels. My wheels are very sophisticated wheels. There's a lot of them.
What size are they?
I don't know.
You don't know, do you?
Well, I don't need to know.
Complete plank. I mean,
I don't need to know.
Some guy could have sold you, 20-inch alloys, and you wouldn't even know.
Well, they probably
could
are
have
that.
sold you
they could be that.
Some load of old tosh plastic
They could be
stuff.
that. Anyway, the point of my story is I saw a report in a very, very authoritative journal last weekend.
The Daily Express.
Saying a lot of these things are staffed by slaves. So, these...
Slavs, you mean?
No, slaves. Literally slaves. I mean, they may be Slavs, but they're...
Slaves.
The guys who've been, humanly trafficked over here and made to wash cars for people like me. Now, I'm not into that.
Look at the time.
Next time I go into one of these, I'm going to ask the guy... I'm going to ask him are you a slave? Because if you're a slave...
He'll probably think you're asking if he's a Slav.
No. I'm going to say, are you being, made to do this without pay? And if so, I will... I'll say I'm not having it. I'm not having any slavery in my life, and I will report them. I will report them to the authorities. Yeah,
good for you.
Yeah,
Man of the People speaks once again. Coming up next, we're going to talk about Tyson Fury with Gareth A. Davis. This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. The Porky Quiz on Oliver Cromwell coming up. He wasn't very popular in some parts of the neighbourhood. Indeed, a bit like yourself. Richard says this: Porky sounds like a bum who suddenly came into wealth.
What?
He sent that at the two mics.
That's a bit harsh.
So Dave says slaves that are humanly trafficked in Huntingdonshire. You couldn't make this stuff up.
No, I didn't say that. It was a very comprehensive report on the fact that the people are being brought across borders and that sort of stuff to work as slaves in car washes. It's something that a man of the people like me has to be aware of.
Tommy says Mike doesn't need a dipstick, he is one.
Oh, that's very nice, isn't it? I've got one here from D. He says, Porky, you plank. So what am I supposed to do? Wake the missus and the kids up at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning and take them for a relaxing bank holiday drive?
Blank holiday?
Well, yeah, bank holiday.
Plank holiday?
All I said was, you get further on roads in this country if you're driving the early hours of the morning. I do it all the time.
Well, if everybody did it, then it would have the opposite effect, wouldn't it?
Well, everybody doesn't do it,
as somebody pointed out, if everybody went driving at the weekends in November, then that would be a bad time to do it.
Yes, but I'm ahead of the game because I thought of it first, so it'll take people 20 years to catch up.
You're not ahead of any game. Let's talk to a man who is ahead of the game.
Indeed.
Mr. Gareth A. Davis from the Daily Telegraph. Mr. Gareth A. Davis, a very good good afternoon to you, I should say, and welcome.
It's
to
normally
the two
good morning,
Mikes in the
isn't it?
afternoon.
But it's good afternoon to Mike and Porky, if I can call you Porky, Mike.
Absolutely, of course you can. All my friends do.
Now, Lard of the Ring, a picture appears on the back pages of most of the papers this morning, and you'd have to say Tyson Fury looks about as athletic as Mike Parry at this point.
Well, who am I
harsh.
to judge on bellies? But, Tyson Fury, kind of using his stomach, if you like. He is out of shape around the middle at the moment, but using his stomach to goad Vladimir Klitschko at yesterday's Manchester Arena press conference. I've described it. It was a very surreal, bizarre 60-minute press conference, which was, I kind of described it as typically dystopian from Tyson Fury. So
You might have to explain that word to Porky.
At 1 a.m. almost. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it is bizarre. And also, I watched on Facebook, and I don't know whether this was done just shortly after the press conference or before it, but where Tyson Fury was being asked about this guy Brazil that's fighting Anthony Joshua, and he said some very sort of, shall we say, disrespectful things that I can't repeat about Anthony Joshua. And the thing is, as much as you might dislike some of the stuff that he comes out with, he is quite funny.
Oh, he's very entertaining, and I think, one of the things you don't want to be in boxing is tumbleweed, and there's no doubt that Tyson Fury polarises opinion. I mean, one of the top lines from yesterday was that he was saying that if he beats Vladimir Klitschko, he's going to move to the United States and continue his career there in Las Vegas because he feels that when he's in the States, he's accepted more and feels that there's a prejudice against his gypsy heritage. I mean, I don't believe myself there is. I think it's more that, as Peter Fury, his trainer, says about Tyson, his uncle and his trainer, that there's no PR machine strapped to his back. And sometimes some of his comments are, kind of a rod for his own back, or create a rod for his own back in that sense. And, there were descriptions yesterday that he's close to self-destruction. I don't think so. I think he was...
the thing is, Gareth, just to pick you up on that, when a boxer like that, who's only just acquired his titles, suddenly lets himself get so out of shape, almost Ricky Hatton style, but Ricky had made 10 defences of his title before he started ballooning up in between bouts by drinking Guinness. I mean, it seems to me that this guy has decided, wow, the biggest thing that's ever happened to me in my life, become world heavyweight champion, I've got a few million in the bank, he keeps reminding us. I think he's lost the appetite for the, getting up at 5 o'clock and doing the road work.
You may be right there. There may never be a better moment in Tyson's Fury than Dusseldorf last November 28th, when he beat the supreme heavyweight champion who'd reigned for 9.5 years and hadn't been beaten for 11 years, and he comprehensively outfiddled, outboxed, outthought him and outmanoeuvred him in the ring. And you're right, he may have reached his Everest, but the thing is, he's got 10 weeks to get in shape. I think Klitschko seemed very relaxed yesterday. He said a weight had been lifted off his shoulders in a way. He'd been embarrassed and it was painfully obvious to him and excruciating when he watched the fight back on tape that he was absent, in inverted commas, on the night. And he's got nothing to lose. If Vladimir Klitschko can win his titles back in this bout in Manchester on July the 9th, which I think is on Box Nation TV, he has got the opportunity to create redemption for his legacy, and he can walk away happy.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury has got to get very serious over the next 10 weeks.
Well, I don't think he can, to be honest, Gary. You know a lot more about boxing than I do, but I was in Las Vegas, as you probably were, the night that Ricky Hatton lost it. Bang, knocked to the canvas. That was the end of Ricky Hatton. And when you see a man out of shape like that, doesn't it show that he's actual pride in his own? I was reading about young Joshua this week saying that I love being lean, I love being fit.
Sculpted.
I love being sculpted, I love being attractive to women, I love to have a nice house, and that's what boxing brings me. Seems to me that, that Tyson Fury's lost all that altogether.
Well, it's an argument. I mean, and it's a viable argument. I think what we will see, I mean, he will be in training camp today and will be getting started. He has had to lose. I mean, last July when he went into training camp before he fought Klitschko in the November, and of course it was delayed a month and a half because of Klitschko's injury. Fury did shed close on 4.5 stone for that, and maybe he needs Ricky used to balloon up between fights because he almost needed to get to a certain weight to get himself motivated again. Maybe Fury's the same, but he did say some incredible things yesterday that, as I say, it was almost Kafkaesque at times, where he was kind of saying how he hates boxing, that he hates it. He hates training. He hates speaking to all of us idiots, he said.
Yeah.
He said, I'd rather be at home eating sweets and chocolate with my kids.
Yeah, don't blame him.
Somebody has asked on Twitter, actually, if he was referring to you when he talked about wanting to get a question from Russell Crowe.
It was Ross. For some reason, he does call me Russell Crowe.
Why?
Don't know.
Maybe you should throw a phone. Maybe you should throw a phone at him.
Yeah.
Something to do with the hair and the good looks, probably.
Well, no, probably not. Probably not.
Sorry? Yeah, it could be the hair. That's very possible. Gareth, listen, thank you very much indeed. Gareth A. Davis there from Her Majesty's Daily Telegraph talking about Tyson Fury and whether... he doesn't agree with you that basically this shows that he's out of shape. He's saying quite the reverse. He's saying maybe this is how he gets motivated
and he
to
fights
lose the
back
weight.
to lose the weight and work to peak of fitness.
And at heavyweight as well, isn't it different from where Ricky Hatton was fighting, where you can put weight on and lose it because you're a much bigger guy?
I don't think you can, to be honest, at any weight in professional boxing. But look, without being sort of, without pointing at you, without being rude to you, you have the very same attitude as Tyson Fury. If you can get something in life
he is a champion of the world.
Hang on,
I agree with you on that.
Hang on. If you can achieve something on a one-off basis, you would then say to yourself, I can't be, bothered
How do you know
to put in the sort of effort it took to get to that point. I'm giving up, because that's all you want.
Yeah, but
I said to you yesterday, you are basically a very idle individual.
No, but
you are a lazy man.
No, I have many other responsibilities in life other than just obsessing about myself and constantly putting myself on a fake pedestal and telling everybody how brilliant I am.
If you'd earned a couple of million quid...
If you didn't do that, you'd have nothing else to do
If you'd earned a couple of million quid...
I have earned a couple of million quid in my lifetime.
Yeah, but you spent it all.
I have.
What I'm saying is, if you were able now to accumulate a couple of million quid, we wouldn't see you for dust behind a microphone in a boxing ring.
Well, you certainly wouldn't see me in a boxing ring.
Wouldn't see you behind a hamburger bar flipping hamburgers. You would just give up because you are basically very idle.
Yeah, if you go to Too Much TV...
You're a lazy brain.
If you go to Too Much TV, what you can see is you and I in a boxing competition in which I beat you. So if you want to get involved in boxing, go to YouTube, have a look at Too Much TV and report back.
No.
This is Talk Sport. Talk Sport, we are the two mics. Coming up in this hour, we'll be talking to Steve Backley, former Olympian, of course. He'll be coming in the studio talking about 99 days to go now to the Olympics. We might have a word again about that cycling guy who resigned very shortly after our guest left the studio yesterday.
Indeed.
Who said there was going to be quite a sort of short investigation. So anyway, we'll get on to that. We'll talk about meditation as well. But I want to draw your attention before we get into the evidence that I've obtained about your medical situation. Because I've got the New Day, our favourite newspaper, here in front of me.
Oh, indeed, yeah.
And
let's have the challenge. What's the challenging question?
Listography challenge of the day. Yeah. What are the three things that you are sorry that you missed?
The three things.
I presume that means in your life, as opposed to this morning or last week.
Is that the question?
Last night on TV. Yeah.
The three things you're sorry you missed.
List the three things that you're sorry you missed.
Okay.
So number one,
Spitfire pilot.
Spitfire pilot.
I'd love to have been one.
What, you missed being one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Number two. In my own that Bournemouth
lifetime,
Everton game we went to.
Yeah, well, yeah. The last goal. Yeah. No, the second one, without a shadow of a doubt, is Oxford University.
Oxford University.
I should have gone there instead of the University of the Trent.
What, you mean Trent Polytechnic?
University of the Trent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And third one.
Yes.
It would be definitely financial opportunities.
Financial, but you've had plenty of financial.
No, I'd love to have been a millionaire. I was going to say a lot earlier in life, but
a lot earlier in life because you are a millionaire, aren't you?
No.
Yes, you are.
No. I was going to say
a millionaire.
I was going to say I'd love to have been a millionaire.
Yeah, but you are a millionaire.
No, I'm not. That's a terrible lie. You mustn't put that around.
Financial opportunities like what, for example, starting your own internet TV station?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
because you did have that opportunity, didn't you?
Well, one that works.
How did that go?
That didn't work. Sadly, that made me a poor man.
So this basically points to your entire ethos of life, right? You'd like to be a millionaire, well-educated, and somebody who'd done something daring in his life, because you've done none of those
things. Well, a hero,
things.
basically.
You'd like to be a rich, well-educated hero.
Well, Spitfire pilots were heroes. I mean, Spitfire pilots never had a problem with who they were taking out on Friday night.
Sadly, did not survive.
They were the bravest men in the history of the world.
You're not brave, are you?
Yes, I am. I think I'm pretty brave.
No, you're not brave.
I think I'm pretty brave. I face up to life's problems, but you can't
run away from any situation that's going to cause problems.
No, you can't, under any circumstances, talk with even a twist of humour about Spitfire pilots. They were the bravest people in the world.
But that's exactly why you couldn't have been one.
They came out of university at the age of 18 instead of pursuing their higher education. They took a 6-week course on how to fly an aircraft from nothing, and then they got up into the skies and they took on the might of the Luftwaffe.
Right.
Incredibly brave men.
Yeah,
It would have been so proud to have been one of them.
Yeah, so you're jealous of them, in other words.
Yeah, I am actually. Yeah. I am. I'm jealous of the fact that I never had the opportunity to do for my country. For my country, what they did for theirs. They did for ours.
Feeds more and more into my belief that you basically have a life full of regret.
No, I don't.
You wish you were somebody else.
We all have regrets.
I don't.
Of course you do.
No, I don't.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, you're very happy that your first marriage smashed to pieces.
I don't regret it.
Children shot off to America.
My children
didn't
love
see
me.
them except twice a year.
That's not
I know
true.
they love you, and I'm not. But that's not a perfect lifestyle, is it?
Nobody's perfect.
Well, I've just said we all got regrets.
But I don't regret it.
You must regret it.
No, I don't.
What? You don't regret the fact?
I'll tell you what you're going to regret in a minute.
Yeah.
It's me getting hold of a confidential letter
that
was sent out to you. From I'm not going to say the name of the hospital,
if you've got anything
away
relating to me, you're guilty of thievery.
I can tell you that this is an absolute and utterly genuine piece of information that I have in front of me. It contains your NHS number, which I'm not going to reveal.
What?
It contains your hospital number, which I'm not going to reveal. It contains your date of birth, which I may reveal if you get any more chippy with me. But it also reveals some very interesting information. To wit, and this is how the letter starts.
Do you think we should be reading all this out?
This is what the letter says. Don't worry, I'm not like you. I will not give anything away which is indeed confidential, including what your BMI is.
BMI?
Body mass index.
Oh, I thought you meant my BMW. I was going to say I got a Mercedes.
It's not below 30, let's put it that way. Now, here's how the letter starts. I was delighted to see Mr. Parry in the heart failure clinic after an interval of some years.
Well, that's not true. It's
Imagine
just
going to a heart failure clinic.
Well, if your heart's failing, it's better than going to a brain failure clinic, isn't it?
This is that's where you should go. Maybe you should have gone next door.
No, that's where you should
go. Now, the next bit says, and this is the bit that I find the most interesting, because you have always maintained, have you not, that only 1/3 of your heart works.
Well, it's true.
Well, not according to this letter.
Why?
The letter says he continues to do well with medical therapy for his left ventricular systolic dysfunction.
Well, that's it. That's the left side of my heart. Doesn't work. It's like a balloon, and it should be tighter.
Like a
balloon. It's flabby.
And presumably medical therapy is a euphemism for 3 bottles of Pinot Grigio a day.
No. It's for looking after your, the tissue in your body.
It then says his left ventricular dimensions are only mildly enlarged and remain stable. I.e., there's nothing wrong with you.
No, mildly enlarged from the last visit. That's what it means.
With a global left ventricular,
still very enlarged.
With a global left ventricular ejection fraction of 49%.
Right.
Now that means to me that at least half of your heart works.
No, that's the wrong figure.
It doesn't say 33%.
No, that's the wrong
49%.
figure. That's the wrong figure. That is for one particular part of the heart, and that is the pumping action of the left ventricular. Okay.
Yeah.
But overall, because the rest of the heart has to compensate for it, only 33% of my heart works at any efficiency level. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the.
You think it's very funny, do you, to have a disablement in life?
Well, all I'm telling you
what about
is,
all the millions of disabled
do you want me to reveal
listeners?
what your weight is?
No, I don't.
You better keep quiet then.
No, you don't need to.
I'm not going to give it out now.
No.
But I will if you're not careful. Now, here's the next bit that I find particularly interesting.
Yes.
Because we've now exposed you as a complete and utter fibber when it comes to how much of your heart works.
No.
We had a serious discussion about weight management.
Yes, yeah. Well,
what was that like then?
Well, what would you expect
were
to
you
talk
discussing,
to
avoir du poids? Were you discussing, carrying heavy loads around the country on the back of lorries?
Yeah, when was the last time you bought a bag of sugar?
I don't buy sugar.
Right, okay.
I don't take sugar.
Do you remember what a bag of sugar used to weigh when you were a kid?
A bag of sugar normally weighs a kilo now, 2.2 pounds.
That's right, exactly. So the point is,
do you want to know how
imagine?
many bags of sugar equate to your weight?
No, we don't need to know that, thank you. But for instance, if you were sort of 10 kilos overweight, which is quite a lot, that's getting on for 2 stones, right? That would be 10 bags of sugar you were carrying around in a carrier bag strapped to your back.
Yeah.
Now, anybody who does that is maddo.
Yeah, you certainly wouldn't want to strap a carrier bag full of sugar to your back.
Well, no, you wouldn't.
Right plank.
No, you wouldn't, but I mean, that's the equivalent of what you do. Next time you're about your weight, get 10 bags of sugar, put them in a rucksack, those horrible things that rucksackers wear.
Why would you do that?
And then climb up and down a few stairs, and you'll see exactly what damage you're doing to your body. I do it all the time.
Well, it's interesting you say that.
To train.
Says his weight is starting to reach the point where it's becoming a specific medical problem.
No. No.
It also has implications in case heart failure surgery is needed in the future.
Well, this could be, could be a problem for the future. Now, I mean, we have some friends who you could say are overweight just by visuality, right?
Uh-huh.
They won't be able to be operated on if anything goes wrong.
Well, that's why they say you should lose weight before you have an operation.
Exactly.
Now, how about this bit here? We discussed the general principles of a calorie-controlled diet and the judicious use of exercise.
Yes, that's right.
My favourite part, I reminded him that alcohol is an additional source of calorie intake.
Yes. Well, I don't imbibe
How much did you say you drank, then?
Sorry?
How much did you tell him you drank?
Shandy.
You what, a pint a week or something?
A couple of pints of shandy at the end of a walk over the North Downs.
What's the point of going to a heart failure clinic and telling them lies?
I didn't tell any lies.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. They're
never going to be able to fix you up.
A lot of my lifestyle image is manufactured by you and other people who work here. And, it's a damned... disgrace, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to have a very fit man coming in soon, by contrast to your heart report here, which I've got, which is fascinating, because I may reveal a few more details from it throughout the show.
No, you won't. You've done quite enough.
It's a genuine article. In fact, to prove that it's a genuine article, I'm going to post a picture out of it.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
No, you're not.
I won't do what you did the other week, and I won't redact the wrong bits. I'll redact the right bits.
I have ownership of that document if you've managed to acquire it from somewhere. And by the way, I'm going to find the damned traitor who supplied you that information, and the justice of Porky will descend upon them.
There's more where that's come from. Steve Backley is going to join us next with an athlete's view on preparing for the Olympics. I think things are very different now with the way they do the kits and the way that they're all these kind of team managers and all of that. And we'll find out from Steve what it's like 99 days from Rio, precisely what training regimen people will be getting involved in. This is Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the two Mikes. The Porky Quiz coming up a little bit later on in the next hour on Oliver Cromwell, an egomaniac that was disliked by many people across the land. Very much like you say, Mr. Parry.
But who turned this country round in a time of need, OK?
All right, well, we'll get to that later because we've got a very special guest in the studio now. Mr. Steve Backley, described by many as one of the best-loved Olympians ever, apparently.
How lovely.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
That's very nice.
Former world record holder, of course. Went to many Olympics, went to many European games and all sorts of things like that. And now you're a sort of an expert pundit on the subject, right?
I commentate, actually. Yeah. So I'll be in Rio for the games. I've done a few now.
Right.
So I retired, 12 years ago. Went to Athens.
Yeah.
That was my last one as a spear chucker, and hung the javelin up and do a bit of commentary.
It's different skill commentating, presumably on not just from throwing a javelin, I mean, but also from say commentating on a football match or rugby, because an awful lot of the time nothing's happening.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, the tough thing in athletics is you've got, across all sports, you've got all events, you've got 19 disciplines. So that men and women. So there's names. You've got 40 in each field. So it's staying across. Who's who, where they are, what might happen.
Yeah.
And of course, stuff happens. You might have 3 events going on simultaneously, as you will have in the Olympic Games. So it's good. It's a challenge, and I enjoy it.
Right, what's it going to be like for javelin throwers at the next Olympics, Steve?
In terms of British prospects?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, they'll be throwing a javelin, presumably, won't they?
That's
what it's going to be like.
Can you not be trite, please, when I'm trying to ask an Olympic champion
and a former world champion? Sensible question.
No, I'm asking what chances have we got in the next Olympics?
That's a different question.
In the discipline that Steve was world champion in.
It's a bit late to start your training if you're thinking of joining in, chaps.
Well,
is that where you're going with this?
Yeah.
It's look. I'll be honest. Javelin throwing is not thriving in the UK at the moment. But on the men's side, women's better. Goldie Sayers is.
There's no entrance at all, is there? For the men's side?
We probably won't have a man throwing the javelin in a British vest in the Olympic Stadium this year.
In the last Olympics, it was Mervyn Luckwell. He's not throwing anymore. Is that right?
He's not throwing. Matty Mortimer threw 75 metres is our best. So it's down on what we've had in the past, unfortunately. Maybe I'd like to do something about that in the future. We'll see.
Yeah. We had the chef de mission in here yesterday.
It sounds like some guy knocks up a meal.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. But it's just because it's French. Porky struggles with it. But I mean, he was saying that we've got great chances of getting as many medals as we got perhaps in Beijing, and if not even better than that in London 2012. But I mean, he would say that, I suppose, wouldn't he? I mean, do you get the sense that it's a different discipline now for all of the athletes who go, because there's many more. It seems to me there's many more heads of different sports, and it's much more political now than it was maybe when you were competing.
Yeah, it's maybe a bit more complex. There's more support. I think there's more opportunity, more money potentially. But I think it's the support thing that makes a difference to a performance. And there's oodles of it. And but I think the challenge is when you've had such a successful home games. Statistically, when that's happened in the past, look at Barcelona, whatever, you take your pick. Teams, the host team in the following Olympic Games, don't tend to do so well. That's certainly a trend we'd love to buck, but it is a big ask because you've got all that pride. It was brilliant 4 years ago, wasn't it?
It was.
I mean, when the games came here, it was just sensational, and to have that same kind of ownership and pride and everything on foreign soil is tough.
Yeah, well, people, because obviously everybody got involved in it. They could see what was going on. The venues were all full of people. I get the sense from people we talk to in Brazil that it's not going to be quite like that because Brazilians are not as much into the Olympics. They haven't got as many kind of competitors and as many fields. They're very into the football, but they're not. There's going to be a lot of places where the excitement levels are going to be nothing like London.
Well, it's the first one in South America, isn't it? So it's a whole new concept to a huge area of the world, isn't it?
I hope
Olympic Games.
The intrigue. I hope that might be a reason for people to come and have a look.
Yeah, maybe. You're absolutely right. Now, Steve, apart from Olympics and athletics and all that, you're involved in something else, performing property.
Yeah.
Legacy Education Alliance. Now, I'm sorry to have to say this, I'm far more interested in property than I am in throwing javelins. Because
Fair enough.
It's because you haven't made any money out of throwing javelins.
Not yet.
None of the people.
No. But what is that about? Because I've always banged the drum to say children at school should be taught some life skills as well as reading books. Is this what it's all about?
That's a great point. And that's what it's all about, is that teaching skills and accumulating knowledge. I've just left a seminar, left Roger Black across in the other side of London, and we have a series of free workshops where people can come and learn how to invest. And it's open to anyone, whether you're a radio presenter or a doctor, a barber, or whatever. Property, we do have a fascination with it in the UK.
But it's not available to everyone in London, though, is it?
Well,
unless you've got quite rich parents.
That's an interesting statement. Okay, well, why not? Why
it's
not?
Too expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Well, to do what?
To buy anything.
For who? I mean, because
put it this way. I've got a 25-year-old daughter, right, who's currently living in a rented apartment in North London. She's never going to be able to save enough money to put a deposit down on a flat. Unless she starts earning sort of, upwards of 300,000 a year.
But that's market forces. That's not.
I would love her to prove you wrong. And
I'd love her to prove me wrong as well.
Absolutely. She might be tapping on your door for a deposit, but
she's got some hope there. Spends all his money on booze.
Yeah, mostly on her actually.
Yeah,
I think that there's lots of ideas, lots of ways of getting creative around property investment that aren't the obvious. You don't have to have lots, high income to invest in property. That's the first message I think that people who do get involved, and this is happening all the time. Just met a bunch of people doing exactly that, of looking at ways of getting creative with exactly the challenge you're talking about. And that might limit your locations and what you can do.
Well, it doesn't limit your locations, Steve, because you're absolutely right. You might live in London. That does not stop you investing in property in parts of this country where property is cheaper.
Absolutely.
But that's if you're not spending all your money on the rental of the property in London that you happen to be living in.
That and might. But the point is that if you judge it properly, you can appreciate your money can appreciate in property wherever you buy it. And if you find a hot spot, you're doing better than you would do in London.
And there's a hot spot. You can improve, get some capital back, but it's also about rental income. You can create a trickle effect, and that's where I think a lot of people are interested.
Yeah.
Because you have a job or you have a business, and running a successful property portfolio, you effectively have a business.
I totally agree.
Because you're making money while you're sleeping. Right?
And it's the most important thing
you two
we
are
ever
like
do in
peas in
our
a
lives.
pod here, aren't you?
No, it's the most important thing you ever do in your life, Mike. Finding yourself somewhere to live, putting a roof over your head.
No,
the children should be taught
the
about
most important thing in your life is having children.
Well, it is to you. It's not to everybody.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant to everyone.
No. Increasingly...
Your statement was about everyone.
No, I think if you look at the statistics, I think more and more people now are not actually, going down the family route.
Oh, really?
That's for another day. For another day.
More Porky nonsense. Now, let's just get back to athletics briefly, or sport in general, because obviously the big story at the moment, regardless of wherever you look, whether it's football, whether it's swimming, whether it's tennis, whether it's, track and field, is doping. And the conversations I have with people are always about where the kind of blurred lines are as to what you can take, what you can't take, what's performance enhancing, what is simply making you a better athlete. I mean, what's the situation? I mean, obviously it's presumably more sophisticated now than it was.
Well, I don't know that that's a true statement. I don't know possibly any more than you do. I'll tell you what I do know. I was ranked 50th in the world, and I probably had a similar attitude to most people, that you're a little bit cynical. You know, you assume that people might be taking drugs who get to the top level in sport. You know, within a year of that, and I went off to Loughborough University. I was ranked 50th in the world, and I was a typical student, living in the halls of residence, you know, eating hall food. It wasn't complex. And within a year, I was world ranked number 1. And it completely... Within a year.
So what did you do in that year?
I trained hard. I had fun. I was happy, enjoying life, and I had a great coach, and I was in an environment at Loughborough University that absolutely allowed me to thrive. As simple as that. And it's completely changed my perspective, because in a power event as well, you know, you kind of go, hold on a second. If these guys are taking drugs, one, the drugs aren't very good. Or I'm better than I thought I was, but I can't have been. I'm a normal guy. I don't have anything.
But in your day, Steve, did they change the list, the prescribed list, every 3 or 6 months like they do now? And did you have somebody who was keeping on top of it for you?
It was fairly straightforward to keep on top of it, because you were given a little card. I used to have it in my wallet, and it had everything that was banned. The simple thing is, if you think something might be banned or anything, you ask. You don't have to have that knowledge. You just ask the team doctor. It's quite funny. When I retired, I took that same card, because I came off the drug list, and I had a full of cold, and I was going to an event, and I went into the chemist and I got the card out and said, can I have everything on that list, because that's got to work. I need that now. And I realised the benefit. But look, I don't think it's complex. I really don't. I think you know, if it's supplements, they have to be batch tested, and you get a certificate. And off you go. And you ask the team doctor if you want to take anything that's slightly borderline. Don't tiptoe in grey area would be the message.
Okay. Well, Steve, thank you very much for coming in.
Absolute pleasure.
99 days to go. You're going out to Brazil, of course, yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
Have you got to get yourself injected with anything this time before you go?
Yeah, I think that's a bit of part of the plan.
Yeah, okay, good
Can
stuff.
I just ask you one thing, Steve? The honour you have is OBE, but one of your best mates, Roger Black, has only got an MBE. Do you talk to him about that sometimes?
I don't know.
Everybody isn't like you, you know.
What's the difference in your mind?
Well, you had an MBE, but you went up market to an OBE. He's still stuck on MBE. Do you not talk to him about that sometimes?
I think you just did. I think you just did it for me.
It's a bit unkind, wasn't it? Yeah.
You see, that's Porky's life summed up in one sentence. You know, if that was the situation with us, he would never stop bringing it in and showing it to me, going, look at that, look, see what I've got.
Well, I think you should be proud of your achievements
Have
in life.
you got either of those?
Sorry?
Have you got either of those honours?
I didn't pursue recognition like that in my life. I have been recognised in other fields.
That's a no, then.
What?
Thank you very much. Steve, thanks very much indeed. Nice to see you. This is Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. There's a Porky Quiz coming up. For those of you who never heard it before, it is a weekly exploration of Mr. Parry's knowledge on a great many subjects. This week he's decided to opt for Oliver Cromwell as the subject of interest. So I hope you've been doing plenty of boning up on it.
I didn't need to.
Okay.
I know about the history of my country. I did, in fact, funnily enough, just refresh my mind last night. I was amazed to find out how much I knew about Oliver Cromwell.
Were you?
Yeah, amazed.
Well, we can all be amazed a little bit later on in the show.
Indeed.
Now, Sam says normal ejection fraction is 55 to 70%, 41 to 49%, maybe a sign of developing heart failure, minus 40%, and he is in real danger. Hashtag save Porky.
Yeah, thank you
People have
very
been
much
studying
indeed.
this document that I've released on Twitter.
Yeah, well, you see, I think that's really, really outrageous of you to do that. I mean, you know, if I started releasing documents about the deplorable state of your physical
Yeah, but I don't have any
capacity in
medical
your body-
documents that need to be passed around.
No, that's because you've
I
never
don't
been
go to the doctor.
You've never been to see the fat doctor.
I don't go to see the doctor.
If you'd
'cause
gone to
there's
see
nothing
the
wrong with
fat doctor, man, you'd have a report now which would basically say, get this man surgery to slice 4 stones off his fantastically fat belly
Well, as I said,
very
I've got,
quickly, otherwise he's in trouble.
As I said, I've got your weight here, if you'd like me to read it out.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay, I won't
that's
then.
completely false anyway,
I
because
won't.
that's a medical weight. That's not a
Medical
real weight. Yeah.
What does that mean? Like you've got some saddlebags on you at the time?
No. It's misleading.
Now, coming up, we're going to be talking to an expert on meditation,
Very
Mr.
good.
Williams,
Yes.
because there's been some studies that have suggested that if you meditate for a period of time, you will actually have you will add years to your life. You will make yourself feel younger.
Make yourself feel younger.
Yeah. But I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Because I didn't get around to this yesterday. The New Day yesterday, they had a big piece about how many more men now are wearing makeup than ever before.
Yes.
And because a lot of people try and make themselves look younger, a lot of men try and sort of do all sorts of things to make themselves look better.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you if you've ever worn makeup.
Well, only when I was running a TV station.
Which TV station was that?
That was my internet TV
Oh,
station.
the internet TV station. Yeah. How many viewers did you have?
Lots.
Lots. Did you count them in tens or
no,
hundreds?
No.
Thousands?
Over hundreds.
Over hundreds?
Hundreds of thousands. Sorry.
I was under the impression that it would have been cheaper to actually make a tape of what you were doing and bike it round to all the people who were watching.
You're so amusing. The point is, you put makeup on there because you don't want the reflection of the lights, because you work under arc lights, bouncing off your face, OK?
Well, a lot of men now are apparently wearing foundation, they're wearing concealer, and even mascara.
And do you approve or not of this?
Well, I don't really mind. I mean, unlike you, I don't judge people, right? So I don't go around saying that... You judge people all the time.
But I mean...
You judge people who
who's
have
telling you
rucksack.
this is something new?
Well,
That's been going on since the day David Bowie made his first record.
This is something
It's been going
new.
on since the day Prince first, God rest his soul, appeared on the stage. It's been going on, actually, since... I don't know, Boy George appeared. I
Yes,
mean,
I know, but
it's not new, is it? What's the new line
Well,
here?
what's new in it is that there is a company now which makes makeup only for men, right? And it has just achieved its first
Only for men? So what's the difference?
£1 million turnover.
What is the difference?
Well,
is the consistency of the male skin different to the female skin?
Well, not
And
only
is that why they need different makeup?
Well, yes, not only is it that, but if you're marketing makeup to people, right, in the same way that if you're marketing aftershave, you market it in a different way than you market perfume. You don't do the same advert for men.
Just sounds like a marketing
as you do for women.
exercise to me.
Well, this guy set up a company called UK,
right?
Because he said there was a huge gap in the market, and is now getting towards a £1 million annual turnover. He said back in 2013 was when it really started to take off because of things like The Only Way Is Essex and Geordie Shore and all these shows.
Yeah.
Because the men wear makeup when they go out. And lots of men now do it.
That's up to them.
Whereas,
I
it's not the
personally
same. It's not the same as Boy George wearing makeup in a way when he was in Culture Club and Marilyn wearing makeup.
Yeah, I
and all
see
of
what
that.
you
It's
mean.
a very different
so
thing.
they're wearing it socially.
Men are now wearing it socially.
I wouldn't do it for a number of reasons. Firstly, I would look ridiculous.
You do look better when you put makeup on. I don't mean you personally, but men do. I remember going to I went to Scotland once because I was going up for a meeting or something after I'd moved down here. And while I was up there, I was asked to go on their version of Newsnight, right? And of course, they put makeup on you when you go on TV.
Exactly.
And when I came off, the woman who'd put it on for me said, "You really look good with this makeup on." And she said, "Do you want to leave it on, or do you want me to take it off?" And I was going off to meet our friend Donald, funnily enough, in his nightclub. So I said, "No, I think you leave it on."
Yeah.
And everyone said to me, "You look amazing. You look so much better."
But it's very odd to see a man wearing makeup to that extent.
I
because
didn't have a problem with it. It's not something I would do on a regular basis.
Before you go into a TV studio.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is...
But this woman said to me, she said, "Well, why do you think you look better? Why do you think women wear makeup? It makes them look better."
Yeah, I know it makes women look better. It makes them look more feminine. But unless a man wants to sort of...
no, it doesn't have to make you more
tone
feminine.
Down his masculinity, I suppose, then, I can't see why you'd want to wear makeup. I mean, the other thing is, you know as well as I do, a lot of women actually develop eventually skin conditions because of the amount of makeup they put on their face.
I don't know that.
Well, I know that for sure.
How do you know that?
Everybody knows it.
Well, you've seen medical evidence of this, have you?
I have seen medical evidence. I've read it in my medical journals.
Really?
That's what happens.
Really?
And also, it's all very well saying men put makeup on, but do they take it off? Because if they don't take it off before they go to bed, then they are in danger of clogging up the pores in their face.
They go back to the same company and they buy the moisturisers and the removal agents and all of that.
Do you know what it sounds like to me?
What does it sound like?
To me like a fantastically bright marketing exercise that now we've saturated the market in women's makeup. I tell you what, 50% of the world are not women. Why don't we start telling men they should be wearing makeup? That's what it sounds like to me.
50% of the world are not women.
Sorry?
What do you mean?
50% of the world are men. Do you agree?
I suppose it's a rough... I'm not sure if it's exactly that, but it's something like that.
Around that. And so, up till now, they have not been part of the marketing exercise to sell cosmetics, because generally speaking, it's accepted cosmetics are sold to women.
Yeah.
And all they're trying to do is go over the divide and say, I tell you what, we'll start selling them to men and we'll get much more. I mean, I tell you what, there is a saturation point in the world, because I was reading some retail stuff, right, this week.
Retail stuff?
And you know that, British Home Stores is having problems.
Yes, as is Austin Reed.
As is Austin Reed.
Yeah.
Now, do you know one theory being put forward for this?
What is it?
The theory being put forward is that the Western world now is so prosperous that actually people have stopped buying clothes.
What?
Well, they've decided...
Well,
they've
you've
got
more or less stopped buying clothes, haven't you?
No.
Because all your shirts are the same, your trousers are the same,
Yeah.
your shoes are the same,
Yes.
your suits are the same.
Yes.
You don't really buy clothes on a regular basis.
Yes, I do.
Really?
I do. I renew them all the time.
What was the last piece of clothing you bought?
I bought a pair of trainers last week.
Trainers?
Yes.
Were they Velcro fastened?
No, they are not Velcro fastened because I haven't got any Velcro fastening trainers, OK?
You have.
And I do
You
resent
have, I've seen
your
them.
ridiculous attitude.
Where'd you
towards the
buy them
fact
from?
that I bought them from the Nike shop.
Really?
Yes.
What, the cut rate one?
It is actually, yeah. But I mean, that means they get new styles in
What
every
size?
day. Size 10. So what's your problem?
Well, they won't fit then, will they?
Of course they do.
You're only
They
a
fit
size
perfectly.
5, everybody knows that.
Don't be ridiculous, you idiot.
This is Talk Sport.
Track on the second side
I'm not
of
sure
Sgt.
it's
Pepper's.
technically that.
No, I think it is.
I think it's just a bit of sitar music.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Which
Same
is-
thing.
It's not the same thing. All sitar music does not sound the same.
Well, it does to me.
Have you never heard of Ravi Shankar?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, he taught George Harrison how to play the sitar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you've ever seen him in concert, he doesn't just play music by the Beatles.
Well, no, I know he doesn't, but I'm telling you, that's the track it reminds me of, okay?
See, the trouble with you is that you're too aggressive.
No.
You see,
No,
you're
I'm
supposed
not.
to be becoming
I just
calmer.
get fed up with your thick-headedness.
You're supposed to be becoming calmer. You're supposed to be more considered.
Do you wear those glasses, by
Lower
the way?
the,
You know, those thick-rimmed glasses to make sure people are not staring at your 6 chins and your fat, bloated face and
No.
just looking at your glasses. Is that why you do it?
No, I wear my glasses because I need glasses now because I'm older than I once was when I didn't need
Yeah, but you
them.
don't need glasses with big, thick frames.
No, I
you know
quite
what I
like
mean?
the thick frames. You don't like them?
Well, I think mine are better.
Really?
Mine have got no frames.
Yeah.
More expensive, of
Same as
course.
like there's nothing in your head.
What?
Let's talk to Will Williams, who is an expert on meditation,
Yes.
right? Because there's a story out today that suggests that if you meditate, you may actually help not only to keep your body fitter
Really?
and younger, but
Yeah.
you might actually keep your brain younger
Wow.
as well. Will, a very good afternoon to you.
Hello, chaps. Good afternoon.
Hi, Will. Thanks
My
for joining us.
apologies. My apologies in advance for my rotund friend here on my right, because he's one of these guys that doesn't believe in what he would call new age fixes for anything. He's very old-fashioned. As you can hear, he's quite aggressive. How can you convince him, Will, that meditating for a couple of hours a day even would help him?
Well, first of all, it doesn't need to be a couple of hours a day. 20, 30, 40 minutes a day would be just the ticket. And if he is a little bit rotund, then actually meditation helps balance out the insulin resistance of your fat cells, and you actually end up losing weight. And so you become a little bit less cuddly, which is perhaps a good idea.
It wouldn't be a bad thing.
Is that right? That's right. Let me ask you this,
Shocking
please.
he's calling you fat.
Yeah, exactly. So that's got us off to a great start, hasn't it? Yeah. Let me just put this to you, Will. Before the Beatles went to India and sat down with the Maharishi, or whatever his name was,
Yogi.
Maharishi Yogi. That's right. Yeah. Before they sat down with him, and before George Harrison decided to go around chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Have you got any stories from this century?
Hang on. Nobody in this country had ever heard of meditation. Then suddenly, all these rather dishevelled-looking people turn up from the East and call themselves gurus, and we're all meditating. I mean, what is meditation? Just tell me, because I've sat in a dark room and tried to empty my head of thought.
Locked room.
But I don't change. I'm my head is still thinking of things. How do you get into a meditation-like trance?
Well, if you try and push all the thoughts away or block things out, to be honest, you're on a hiding to nothing, because when we're living busy, stimulating lives that we are, there's so much activation in the nervous system in the brain that you're just going to get frustrated and you're not going to feel any better. But there are certain techniques you can use, whether it's breathing or mantras or other such things. The attention on those devices helps calm the brain down, helps de-excite the nervous system, gets you into this very, very deep state where your brain becomes much more coherent and you think more clearly, your awareness expands, and you lose things like aggressive tendencies or anxiety or...
Oh, I don't have those.
But you see, the thing is, you're absolutely right, Will, because what you've just described is how you can't switch your brain off, that you can't actually go into a dark room or any other kind of place.
Well, how do you switch your brain off then? If I can't switch my brain off, what am I doing wrong?
I'm not sure we've got time for this.
It's a bit like trying to fall asleep as opposed to allowing yourself to fall asleep. If you try and get to sleep, you'll just do your head in and roll around.
He doesn't sleep much either.
No, I don't know.
No, he doesn't.
No, I don't.
It's true.
Definitely come and meditate.
No, I think he definitely has. I mean, he never stops thinking.
Excuse me, I want Will to explain to me how I get into a meditationary state. Because if I'm just sitting there in a dark room, how do I empty my how do I get into meditation? How do I get into deep, pensive thought?
It's very difficult to just say in a few minutes what can be done. This is why I teach courses, because it takes, for me, usually 7 or 8 hours to help people get to the point of being self-sufficient.
You wouldn't want to spend 7 or 8 hours in a room with Porky, I can tell you that.
Sorry, Will, it's just one insult after another, because this fat blob in the studio with me here doesn't understand the deeper meaning of what we're trying to get to.
Do you know what we used to do when I used to study karate?
No.
Do you know what they used to make us do?
You used to chop bits of wood and go, ha! Ooh,
no,
ha!
But in order to meditate, I don't know what you think of this, Will, but they used to have us lying down on the ground, and you would raise your heels off the ground, right, and thereby sort of, tense your stomach, and you would think of a massive block of ice in a great big white room melting.
Wow.
And that used to make your mind be clear of everything. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, that's one way you can go about it, that's for sure.
Thank you.
If you give your mind something to work with rather than trying to give your mind nothing to work with...
Well, there's not a lot in there, to be fair.
Will, I'm going to ignore all these stupid insults. Have you written a book on this, Will? If I wanted to get onto the Amazon website this afternoon and buy your book, what's it called?
I don't have a book.
Oh, you haven't written a book?
That's a terrible question to ask him.
No, it's not. I thought you'd have written a book about...
I will write one day.
Yeah, OK. So where do I start, then?
He could buy your book, though, can't he?
Yeah, you could, actually.
He's written a book about Wayne Rooney called Rooney Tunes. Yes. You can get it for a penny on Amazon.
What an idiot. What I was going to say is, Will, you see, he's just laughing. He's just a jabbering, Thurm Apr. That's what he is. Now, what I was going to say is, Will, if I want to get into meditation seriously, and I do, I wish to find another way, a spiritual release from my head. Where do I start?
To be honest, if you really want to make big inroads quickly, then I would go and see a teacher who can actually work with you, understand exactly where you're coming from, what you're about, and give you tools and techniques.
But that's like going to a shrink. I mean, that's giving in to the fact that somebody else has got to help control your head because you can't control it yourself.
Not if they're there to help you become self-sufficient. I mean, if I want to learn piano and I want to do it well, then I'd go and see a piano teacher and then they teach me. I could try and figure it out by hitting all the keys and, one day I might become a great musician, but much easier if I just shortcut the process and have an expert show me how.
And would this guy be called a guru?
I'm not that comfortable with that term because it tends to make us think of someone who you become dependent on and, you've then got to bow at their feet and basically do whatever they tell you. I would say a teacher is a much more fitting...
And is there?
And do you sit cross-legged?
Excuse me, do you mind if I ask you a question?
No, please do.
Is that all right with you?
But I'm taking it
seriously. Why don't you just sit there and try and empty your mind, or actually, alternatively, why don't you try and fill it up with something?
Why don't you just sit there giggling, you oaf?
Is it the case that more people are now taking up meditation, even though obviously lots of people have been doing it for a long time? Is there more demand for it now?
Oh, absolutely. It's going from strength to strength. It's a bit like yoga. 15 years ago, yoga was a little bit alternative, some people doing it, and now everybody's at it, and meditation's following the same trajectory. But you don't have to sit cross-legged, and in fact, most people find that bloody uncomfortable and actually
I agree.
Sit there, instead of not thinking about anything, all they're thinking about is the pain in their leg or in their back.
Absolutely.
It's much better to meditate in a comfortable chair and be in a relaxed bodily state.
Is there not a book, Will? Is there not a sort of a book which your people regard as the Bible of meditation or something like that I can read before I go off to see a chap who's an expert?
No, the consensus generally tends to be that...
So nobody's written it down. Right, OK.
Now, the brain apparently...
It's like trying to ride a bicycle by reading a book. You can't really... It's an experiential thing rather than a conceptual thing.
That is very interesting. And one last question, please, just from me.
All right.
That is, when John Lennon was asked by the Maharishi Yogi... Hang on, the Maharishi Yogi, why are you leaving me and going home to England?
England?
John Lennon said, well, if you're so cosmic, you should know. Is that a right answer? I mean, shouldn't these guys be able to...
That's even more stupid than the last question you asked.
No, shouldn't these guys be able to read your mind when they've got inside your head?
Well, if you think that getting inside your head is what it's all about, I think, for me, it's much more about being able to read people's hearts than to be able to read their minds. And who wants to know what's going on behind everybody's brains anyway? It'd just be
I do.
Like listening to a static radio all day long. It'd be horrible.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a
I'm
very
sure about
harsh
that.
description of the show, Will. But listen, thank you very much indeed. Will
you.
Williams there, who you can find on Twitter. He is at WW Williams.
Nobody's
You'll find
ever
him.
written a book about meditation.
Yeah,
What
they
does
have.
that tell you?
There's
No, they
loads of
haven't. He
books
told
about-
me there's no books about meditation.
That's not true.
He's just said to
He
me, I
hasn't
said, what
written-
is the
no,
Bible?
He hasn't written a book about
And then
meditation.
I said, so what is the Bible of you guys in meditation? He said, there isn't one.
No.
He said, you can't write about it.
I don't believe that.
He said, it's like
But the
trying to
good news is...
write about riding a bike.
The good news is
Yeah.
that if you do meditate for as little as half an hour a day,
Yeah.
you could shave 7 years off your age.
No, you can't.
So you could get back to 60.
No, you can't. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
This is Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics, and of course, coming up a little bit later on in this hour, the quiz on Oliver Cromwell, the Porky Quiz, very popular on our podcast and on the show that we do overnights normally. Professor Stanley Corrin's going to join us as well about that story that we touched upon about whether you should hug your dog or
Yes.
not, because we've got that all coming up as
Good.
well. Now, tell me about the typewriter story that you wanted to mention,
well,
because
listen.
you've got some kind of
Yeah.
obsession
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the QWERTY keyboard, have you not?
This is quite an amazing development. Now,
Yeah.
what happens is right that what we have discovered, right, scientists have discovered, and I've read this journal, is that most of our life depends on words that occur having been spelt on the right side of a QWERTY keyboard.
Yes.
I.e.,
What, you mean like words that are easily names that are easily found where keys are next to each other, that
right.
kind of thing?
Let me tell you this.
Go on.
If you look at a QWERTY keyboard, you've got it in front of you there.
I have got
for
one
our
in front of me,
computer,
yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at
So
the
it's just
Y...
like a little exercise.
Look at the Y and the H and the N, and you
Yes.
see the line there.
Yes.
Most of the world is run, and most of everything goes on with words made up from the right of those three letters.
Okay,
You
so
see?
from there you've got UIOP on the top line.
Exactly.
H goes
Yeah.
to JKL.
Yeah, that's right.
And then there's only one on the bottom, and that's an M.
Yeah, that's right. So, for instance...
So when you mean most of the words, you mean they start with those letters?
No, what I'm saying is that most of the words that are useful in the English language for anything that we do on a day-to-day basis contain the letters to the right of the keyboard, not to the left. So, for instance, if you called your baby Plum, P-L-U-M, yeah.
Well, why would you do that?
Well, because the P, L, and U and M are all to the right of the
But
three
nobody's
letters
ever called
I've just
their
told
baby
you.
Plum.
Well, no, but I mean, supposing they did. Or Plink.
What about Apple?
Or Apple, yeah, something
But
like that, yeah.
Apple's to the left, isn't
Or
it?
Plunk.
Yeah, but,
or,
Apple's to the left.
What?
Are you sure you haven't got this round the wrong way?
No, I haven't got it around the wrong way. Never mind Apple. I don't know why you introduced Apple.
Well,
I'm telling you
because
the
it's
words
another
that
kind
matter.
of fruit, and it happens to be the name of a child that was born
Yeah.
to Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Listen to this. This comes from a guy at Washington, D.C. University,
Oh, yeah.
okay, where you and I are both familiar with.
I've never been there.
The correlation is fascinating. It's not clear whether the effect is because words with a higher right-side ratio are easier to type or because there are more vowels on that side. I think it's the vowels, which you spotted, okay?
Well, no, there are two vowels on that side.
We don't put
Of Y,
emotions...
H, and N, and there are 5 vowels altogether, so in fact there are less vowels on that side than there are on the other side.
No, that's not the case.
Well, it is. There's O and U
just
on that
listen.
side, and A, E, and I on the other side.
Don't contradict me. We don't put emotions into most of our consonants. We put them into our vowels, and so it's why the layout
Actually,
of
you're
the
right.
keyboard.
Actually, no, I is on that side.
Exactly.
So it's 3 over there and 2 on the other side.
Exactly. It's exactly what I'm telling you. See, so
I
now
mistook the I for an L.
Now you've realised that I'm right. When we feel about various words, including made-up ones such as ploke, P-L-O-K-E,
Ploke.
yeah, and pleek, P-L-E-E-K. People who speak English, Dutch and Spanish rated those with a brighter right-side letter ratio more positively.
But pleek isn't a word.
No, it's a made-up word. And they rate them more highly.
Well, how is that
than other
proving
words,
anything?
eh?
How does that prove anything?
It does prove it, because, look, David Garcia at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, he and a guy called Stromheimer, who's from the University of...
Stromheimer?
Yeah.
What's his first name?
Marcus.
Marcus?
Yeah, he's from he's a professor.
Of course.
Professor Stromheimer at the University of Koblenz-Landau in Germany.
And we're all very familiar with that one.
Yeah, looked at millions of English language
Koblenz-Landauer.
product names and titles of books, films and video clips appearing on 11 websites, and he concluded names had a higher number of right-side letters tend to be rated more highly by reviewers. So words that are made up of letters on the right-hand side of a QWERTY keyboard are successful,
Right.
and words on the left-hand side usually amount to non-successful.
Now, isn't that
things.
interesting? Because if, for example, you took your name as Michael,
Yes.
right, then you've got the first two letters on the right-hand side.
Well, there you go.
Then you've got the H, L-I-C-H, and then you've got the L.
Yes.
So you've got 4 letters out of Michael on the right-hand side.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And only 3 on the other side.
Exactly.
Is that your point?
That is my point.
So that means you're successful.
Exactly. That is my point.
And then,
whereas somebody whose name was Bert, so it was all on the left-hand side, would be, you know,
What about-
just how you'd imagine a Bert, you know, some guy with a flat hat and a whippet, and basically not very
And
successful.
do you count the middle as the right, or do you count the middle as not the right?
You count the middle as the right.
Okay, so Parry,
Yes.
you would have an A on the left and 2 R's on the left, and a P and a Y on the right, which means your surname is unsuccessful.
No, it's not, because it's a Welsh name, so it'd have to be the Welsh alphabet.
Oh,
that
I
would
didn't
have
think
to...
you were Welsh.
I'm not, but my antecedents clearly are. My ancestors
There's been
clearly
some
are.
trouble in Wales, actually, about that video that you put out.
Well, I'm getting a bit worried about that. I didn't mean to. I mean, you know, it's a tribute to Dylan Thomas. What can I do about it, you know?
Well, some people haven't taken it as that.
Well, I don't understand
I've had
that.
a couple of complaints from down Cardiff way,
I thought we
which
were
you might have to explain.
Excuse me, I thought overnight you were going to let me sort that out. And
Well, we'll
you know,
see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I tell you what I will be watching tonight, by the way. Now, I know it was...
Here's a question for you, by the way, from Rhodesy.
Oh, yes.
What's the longest word you can spell just using the top line of a QWERTY keyboard?
No, it's a famous question, this, isn't it?
It's a QWERTYUIOP.
Yeah, what's the answer? Has he given me the answer?
Well, he hasn't given me the answer. No, he's asked the question.
Well, it should be fairly easy to work out, shouldn't it? You know?
Well, why don't you write down the letters? and then you
Prerequisite, is it, or something like that?
Prerequisite? No, you wouldn't be able to do that, would you?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, what I was going
It's
to
got
say...
more than 1 R in it.
Yes, that's right.
What
yes.
does it say if you could use one?
Well, there you go. There you go.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's prerequisite.
Yeah. Anyway, now what I was going to say is,
What were you going to say?
now, although it was Porky Vision yesterday,
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
and so I, did the programmes up till then.
Yeah.
Apparently, it is.
And your fascinating study of Cleopatra, a show that nobody still has been able to find anywhere.
No, of course they
Nobody
have.
knows when it's
brilliant.
on.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah, all right. Well, we talked about that. So you can tell us now.
Now, what I was going to say is that maybe in next week's Porky Vision, I might include a show that is on tonight. It's
Right.
call Line of Duty.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that.
I've never
People say
seen
it's
it.
very good.
But it's the last one tonight.
Is
It's
it?
an hour and a half long. It's a feature. And El News Supremo here, our colleague.
Who?
You know.
Well, you've forgotten her name.
No, of course I've forgotten her name.
You have, haven't you?
No,
You have.
I don't.
You've forgotten her name.
No, I just don't want to, big people up and all
Really?
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Do you mean Robin?
Of course, I mean Robin.
You've
but
forgotten her name.
You keep saying to me, don't give them a name.
Well, I think you can name Robin Schoenhoff. She gets a name check every 2 hours, or every twice an hour. I should
Twice
say.
an hour, that's right, yeah.
I don't think Robin's going to be upset if you mention that she watches Line
Anyway,
of Duty.
she says it's brilliant, but you've got
But
to
she said
prepare
you had
yourself.
to watch the previous 2 series.
That's right, I know. And this
So
is the
you've
end
got,
of the third series,
you've got
I
a bit
think.
of catching up to do tonight.
There's a bit of catching up to do on there. But however, what I will do is I will kind of skybox it and watch it at my leisure.
Really?
But I've
By
got
the way, the word is typewriter,
typewriter. Oh, that's interesting, isn't
not
it? Yeah.
prerequisite.
Okay. The thing is, I have done all the research and I've got names of all the characters. Apparently, it's...
Apparently, the word plank is also on the right.
Is it really?
More on the right.
Apparently, some of this is based
And
on...
plonk.
Plonk, I told you.
Plonk is entirely on the right.
I told you Plonk was.
No, you didn't.
I did.
I didn't hear that.
I said plonk, plink, plonk, plum, and pommy. Right, now, apparently...
You make a sentence with all of those words.
I see, you don't take these things seriously. Now, what I was going to say is, apparently a lot of it's based on true happenings in the north of England.
What?
And
You're still talking about this TV show?
Yeah, some of the plot is
It's a
based...
TV. It's about police sort of drama, isn't it?
Some of the plot is based around... references to like Operation U-Tree and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it sounds good.
Oh yeah, I saw that they were criticised for using the picture of an actual person who
think it was Cyril
generally
Smith, I think.
generally reviled. No, it wasn't him. But I'm
Wasn't
not going
it?
to say who it was
Oh,
because we don't like to give out too many names.
Okay,
but, yeah,
that's fine.
apparently people have been getting quite worked up about
the
show. But it is meant to be brilliant.
It is, yeah.
The trouble is, I don't have enough time in my. I'm still trying to. I've been watching a show called Follow the Money.
Follow the Money,
which is a very very interesting sort of thriller detective series from Denmark. Right?
Oh, okay.
It's been on BBC 4.
Right.
And I think it's now finished.
Have you watched The Tunnel?
Oh, sorry, you've got no interest in anything I suggest, have you?
Yeah, but you told me you watched The Tunnel.
No, I watched The Bridge.
Oh, The Bridge.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, which was a Swedish-Denmark co-production because they've got that bridge between the two countries.
Yeah, but haven't they got a tunnel as well?
Well, the bridge becomes a tunnel. That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
No,
and
but
I want to drive at one point from Denmark into Sweden because you go on a bridge and then the bridge goes into the sea and becomes a tunnel.
Okay, but
I've shown you a picture of it before.
Yes, you have, I know, but I thought there was also a programme called The Tunnel.
There was a UK version of it.
And is that called The Tunnel? I see, yeah. Okay. So the bridge and the tunnel is the same thing?
Well, remember they used to use that phrase in New York, didn't they? Bridge and tunnel.
Bridges and tunnels. People who came over bridges or through tunnels from Long Island into Manhattan.
From the from the other boroughs outside of Manhattan to stay the night.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fascinating. Yeah. We better say not too much about that, obviously, because it's a family show at this time of the day. Coming up very, very soon, we're going to be talking to a guest about dogs and whether you should hug them.
Yep.
Professor Stanley Corrin is coming on. I'm not sure which university he's from. This is Talk Sport.
Excellent.
Who let the dogs out? 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 When the party was nice, the party was pumping.
Now, here's an interesting text on the subject of the QWERTY keyboard, right? And it's obviously from a Liverpool supporter.
Yes.
I'm going to call him Madin because he's got a different Twitter account.
Right.
Klopp should be the most successful word, as it is furthest right from QWERTY.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
well, that's very interesting.
Quite interesting, isn't it?
You see, it just shows how intelligent the listenership is to this show.
And Liverpool, of course, playing tonight against Villarreal, and we'll have live TalkSport commentary. We'll talk to Jim Proudfoot about that a little later on. But right now, we're going to talk to a man who's caused a lot of consternation in the dog world, Professor Stanley Corrin from the University of British Columbia, because he came out with a report in which he said that basically, in a study that he did, 81% of all dogs that he saw being hugged were uncomfortable. It was causing them stress. They were showing signs of not being happy about it. But lots of dog owners that I know have said, this is all absolute nutter rubbish. My dog loves to be hugged. Professor Corrin, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you.
Now, I hope you don't mind me giving you that introduction, but you have caused quite a stir, certainly on this side of the Atlantic, with your report, because everyone I know on Facebook and on Twitter and everything else who's got a dog, they all say, well, our dogs love being hugged. What's the story?
Well, the first thing you have to understand is that dogs are what we call a cursorial species, which means to say that their major adaptation is that they move fast. And so if something stresses them, their tendency, they're wired to sort of run away. And when we hug a dog, basically we're forming a corral around them so that, in the dog's mind, if anything happens, they can't escape. And that stresses them. And lots of dog bite prevention programs have pointed out, that you should not be hugging your dog because when people get facial bites, it's most often the case that occurs when they've been hugging the dog. So I decided I wanted to see whether or not dogs were actually being stressed by being hugged. And I figured that this would be easy to do because the signs of stress in a dog are really quite visible. I mean, if a dog is stressed, he looks away from what's stressing him. His ears slick down. He might yawn. There's some eye signs. The eye will close or show what we call a half-moon eye, which is, where you see part of the whites of the eye.
Yeah, see, my dog does that if I'm telling him off, if he's done something wrong. And he looks away and he knows that he's in a bit of trouble, right? But what I also see when he's being affectionate and when he wants to either be near the kids or near me, he doesn't do any of those things. Quite often he'll put his head over your shoulder and he'll quite like a little hug, and it's not for long, but he doesn't seem stressed out by it.
Well, you have to understand that our data was based on what I decided to do was, since the signs of stress are so visible in dogs, if I had a whole stack of photographs of dogs being hugged, it would be easy to pick out whether or not they had stress signs. And all you have to do is to go into Flickr or Google image search and just type in the words dog hug or dog love, and you get this infinite scroll of pictures of people hugging their dogs. And we decided to look at the first 250 of these that we found, which were scoreable. Obviously, if the dog is not showing any of his face, that's not going to help us. Or if somebody's doing something, which might stress the dog, like trying to lift a Labrador Retriever or something like that. And what we found was that 81.6% of the dogs showed at least one sign of stress, and only 7.6% showed that they were comfortable, and the remaining 10 or 11% were sort of neutral or ambiguous. And
so Prof, sorry, they're great figures. May I just ask you this, please? Does this then, from your research, reboot the whole theory of relationship between canines, dogs, and human beings? We've always believed it's man's best friend. Dog's totally reliant on a human being to feed him, and therefore have, unbridled loyalty and love human company.
No. We're not saying don't love the dog. We're saying don't hug the dog. Look. When
Have you got a dog, Professor?
When I was a kid,
Have you got a dog, Professor?
Yes, of course I have a dog.
Do you hug it?
Pardon?
Do you not hug it?
I don't hug my dog.
You don't hug your dog?
Look, when I was a kid, I had an aunt who was very fond of me.
An aunt?
And whenever she would...
An auntie.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant an ant, not an ant, an insect.
Yeah, an auntie, yes, please go on.
Go on.
And she was very fond of me. And whenever she would come to visit, she would run over and she would pinch both of my cheeks and say, "Oh, I love you so much." Mm-hmm. Well, she thought she was expressing affection.
That's traumatic, isn't it?
And in fact, I hated it.
Right. Do you think that's had any long-term effect on you, Professor, that this is why you've decided to do this study on hugging?
Yeah.
No. It's basically the fact if you want to express your affection to your dog, there's a whole lot of other ways to do it. Because, what the Internet is showing us is a whole lot of pictures of very happy people hugging very stressed dogs. And, you can express your affection in a whole bunch of other ways. Dogs do like...
So what would you do instead? How would you show affection other than hugging? Now, what's your recommendation?
You can pet them. Some dogs like even sort of rough petting. You can talk to them in that sort of sing-song voice that mothers use for kids.
Okay.
That sort of, "Oh, what a cute dog you are. Yes, you are," that kind of thing. Or the best thing is to just reach into your pocket and give the dog a treat.
But then you might be encouraging them to be overweight then.
Well, exactly. Prof, can I put these two theories to you? This is what I've been told. I did a bit of research before you came on. Best ways to make your dog feel good. These are two extreme ones. Take the dog surfing on a surfboard. Or, no, it's right. Or...
we might not be able to surf.
Or, well, you teach how to surf. Or... put your dog through a film school so the dog becomes a TV star like Lassie. What do you think of either of those?
I had an uncle who used to make his dog very happy by pouring a saucer full of beer. So, there are all sorts of ways to make a dog happy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny enough, that's how I make you happy.
No, you
put it in a glass.
No, you idiot. It's usually Pinot Grigio white wine. Can you take your dog out for lunch and all this kind of stuff? I'm looking at extremes here. People say to keep your dog
Depends
happy,
where you are, doesn't
you
it?
should visit a dog spa with your dog. You should take your dog on a gourmet weekend. You should try yoga with your dog. I'm serious. You should even maybe enter Strictly Dog Dancing on one of these ridiculous sort of,
dog reality shows.
Yeah, Canada's Got Talent shows. And, do you approve of all those sort of extreme things?
Well, dogs like doing activities with us, and they like being associated with us. Mm-hmm. There are some dogs which like the kind of sort of activities which you're talking about, and there are others. I have one of my dogs. His major joy in life is to jump up on the sofa and lie
there you go.
Or
there you go. Prof, just one last question before you go, please. This is all very commendable, make millions of people happy, but at the end of the day, you're a professor, you're a scientist. Wouldn't you have been better off trying to find a cure for cancer?
Well, there are safety issues. If in fact it's the case that a child sees their parents hugging the dog all the time, then they might be tempted to run over and hug some strange dog. And that is a recipe for getting that child's face bitten.
That's very commendable.
Shocking
Thank
stuff.
you, Prof.
Professor Stanley Corrin there. I'm not sure I entirely agree with some of his dog theories, but, he used to have an ant, apparently.
Yeah. And what an idiot you are. You thought it was an ANT.
Well, some people keep ants. In a hill.
They don't.
Anyway, never mind that. Coming up next,
ridiculous.
it's time for the Porky Quiz. So I hope you've been boning up on Oliver Cromwell.
Didn't need to.
Yeah, the independent quizmasters have got the quizzes
great protector.
ready. And we'll see how Porky does. It's coming up next on TalkSport.
He was a roundhead.
This is that time of the week,
It
the
is.
Porky Quiz,
Yeah.
which normally takes
Great.
place at this time,
Yeah, bring it
I
on,
guess,
bring it
12
on.
hours later. But it's I have to point out that in the last two quizzes, you've achieved a score of 1.5 out of 20.
No, that was. Do you know why?
I'll tell you why. Because you got 0 out of 10 on the
No,
first one about the American Civil War. Then you got 1.5 out of 10 for the other one.
I'd been doing so well. You ratcheted up the difficulty of the questions, and now you've got to ratchet them down again. Otherwise, the quiz is doomed because of your gerrymandering.
Not at all. You are an expert on Oliver Cromwell, are you not?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you get one answer correct, you will hear this sound.
Those in favour of Donald Trump's motion.
If you get one incorrect, you will hear this sound.
The incompetence of the High Command have tried my patience long enough.
So does that sound familiar? I think we're hearing more of those. Now, you ready for question one?
Yes.
It only has one answer. How many sisters did Oliver Cromwell have?
How many sisters?
Yes.
He had 2 sisters.
Incorrect.
No.
He had 7 sisters.
No, he didn't.
The incompetence of the High Command have tried my patience long enough.
No, you're wrong.
No, he had
5 of
7.
them died.
Question number 2.
5 of them died.
Yeah, well, he's dead as well. It doesn't mean it's the right answer.
No, I meant like young, early.
Question number 2.
Right.
Who created the Oliver Cromwell statue in Westminster?
Oliver Cromwell statue in Westminster.
You have seen that, I take it.
Yes, I've seen it. In fact, I know where it is.
Good. Where is
let
it?
me think. What?
Where is it?
It's outside the Manor House. No, not the Manor House. The banqueting hall. It's outside the banqueting hall in Westminster.
Well, it's in Westminster. That's what you need to know.
Now I'm thinking aloud here. So, what do you want to know?
Who created it?
Who created it?
Yes.
Who created it?
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, wouldn't a better question be to
I don't
ask,
word the questions.
you know, like...
Well, you tell me what would be a better question.
It's outside St Stephen's entrance, by the way, to the House of Commons. I just remembered.
Somebody tell you that?
No, I
You're
remember.
not being fed information.
No, I'm not
secretly.
being fed information, but I couldn't remember where I'd seen it.
Yeah, okay.
Near St Stephen's Green. Now, what do you mean, who created
Well,
it? What are you on
who
about?
made it? Who
Yes,
was the
you know who
artist?
the sculptor was?
Yes.
Well, that's a ridiculous question.
Why?
Well, it's nothing to do with Oliver Cromwell.
What's
That's
an Oliver
why.
Cromwell statue?
Yeah, okay.
It's everything to do with Oliver Cromwell.
Okay, and if I said, I tell you what, let's talk about the history of the British government, and you said, who built the House of Commons, that would be irrelevant.
No, it wouldn't.
It would.
That's where the government sit.
No, that's right. This is not a nonsensical... Anyway,
Anyway, we're
I'm
not
thinking
talking about
aloud.
that.
I'm thinking
Are you
aloud.
going to give me an answer or not?
So...
You don't know, do you?
Yeah, hang on I reckon it was Francis Bacon.
Incorrect.
Incompetence of the High Command have tried my patience long enough.
It was Hamo Thornycroft. Question number 3.
Hamo Thornycroft.
Yes, that's
Is he
the
the
very
same
same.
guy who built the aeroplanes,
What?
by the way?
I don't know.
A guy called Thornycroft built aeroplanes.
I doubt
I didn't
it.
know he built the...
I very much
what
doubt
a
it.
ridiculous and irrelevant question.
Question number 3. Where is the Cromwell Museum?
Cromwell Museum? That would be in... Now, thinking aloud here, it's either in his hometown of Huntingdon or it is at Sydney Sussex College, Cambridge,
Yeah, you
which
have
is
to be
his
very careful with
which is his alma mater. Alma mater. That means his place of learning.
Well, his former place of learning, actually.
Former place of learning, where there is also a statue of him. I'm going to say, Cambridge.
Incorrect.
No. Where is it?
It's in the former site of the Huntingdon Grammar School.
What?
Yes, it is.
But I said it was,
No.
might have been in
Yeah,
Huntingdon.
but you've seen
You had no
but you
right to interrupt.
You opted for the other option.
You had no right
I'm
to
sorry.
interrupt there.
0 out of 3.
You say that you can't give me any hints or
I
anything
can't.
like that.
That's true.
And yet you
No.
deflected me.
No, I can't give you any
deflected
hints.
me from the right
It's not
answer.
possible. Question
you
number 4.
scumbag.
Question number 4. Who did Cromwell marry in 1620?
In 1620, he married a woman with whom they had 10 children, one who was stillborn. So they've got 9 registered children, OK? 9 registered children. One of whom...
Why are you looking at me with that funny, strange look in your eye?
Hang on. One of whom became his successor.
I haven't asked you about his children.
Successor. And her name, you want to know her name?
Her name.
Right, I'll tell you something. She came from... No, he came from, didn't he? He was descended from Thomas Cromwell, who was Henry VIII's Chancellor. Did you know that?
I didn't ask you that.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, so...
I'm only interested in who he married.
Who he married?
Yeah.
Right,
You don't know,
okay.
do you?
Yes, I do. And her name was Sarah.
The incompetence of the High Command have
Incorrect.
tried my
Well,
patience
second
long
name was
enough.
Sarah, then.
Her name was Elizabeth Bouchier.
Elizabeth Bouchier.
0 out of 4.
Sounds like a French woman.
Question number 5. Where did Cromwell live in Edinburgh while trying to convince the Scots to stop supporting Charles II?
Now, we're going to Edinburgh soon.
We're going to Edinburgh, yeah, for
the
the
Edinburgh Festival.
Yeah.
In August. 3 shows there, folks.
Yeah, never mind that.
Ticket lines open, I think, already.
Never mind all that.
Right, OK. Right, now, just thinking aloud here. I'll
have to hurry you.
I think...
Only halfway through.
All right, thinking aloud here.
Well, hurry up.
Holyrood Palace.
Incorrect.
No!
Incompetence of the High Command.
0 out of
Tried
5.
my patience long enough.
Have you done any research on this
Yes,
at
but
all?
these questions are
It
ridiculous.
was Murray House on the Royal Mile. Question number 6. In 1658, the Cromwell half-crown was issued. What was the Latin inscription on it?
What?
What was the Latin inscription on it?
Latin inscription.
And you'll have to be very precise with this one.
Let me see. Oh, I know what it was. I think I know what it was. Right, I know. Now, he was a man of the faith. Great man of the faith.
What faith?
Indeed, in addition to being a roundhead and, leader, he was a man of great faith. So it would be In God We Trust.
The incompetence
Incorrect.
of the High Command have tried my patience long enough.
The Latin inscription was Olivar DG RP Ang Sco et Hib etc Pro PRO, which actually stands for Oliver, by the grace of God, of the Republic of England, Scotland and Ireland, etc., Protector.
What, you expected me to know all that?
Well, you should do if you're an expert.
That was a completely nonsensical question.
0 out of 6.
That's like asking me to read out, the Gettysburg Address.
Do you remember any words that was? Because that was one of the questions in the Civil War quiz.
Gettysburg Address?
Yeah, I mean, how many words? Do you remember?
274.
Not far off. You got that one wrong, though, last time. Now, we have to hurry up because we're up against the clock. Now, question number 7. Yes. So far, you got 0. Who succeeded him as Lord Protector after his death in 1658?
His son.
His son, which one?
Robert.
Incorrect.
No.
Incorrect.
No, I said his son.
No, his son, Richard.
His son, Richard.
No,
his son,
you get no points.
No, I do.
It's wrong.
I do.
It's wrong.
His name began with R.
0 out of 7.
No.
Question number 8. In which war was the ship Oliver Cromwell involved?
What?
In which war was the ship Oliver Cromwell involved?
Ship Oliver Cromwell. Well, I'll tell you what, it certainly wasn't the Civil War, because they didn't have any ships in those days. Or at least You
have to hurry up here. Stop thinking aloud and get on with it.
The war, the Oliver Cromwell, that would be the First World War.
Incorrect.
No!
The incompetence of the High
American
Command
Revolutionary
tried
War.
my patience
You got
long
0 out of 8 here.
Well, these are stupid questions.
Question number 9. Yeah. After being buried in Westminster Abbey, Cromwell was exhumed, hanged and beheaded. Where is his head buried?
Well, it was put on a spike.
Well, that's not burying it, is it?
Okay. and then, well, no, but I mean, in between time.
Buried on a spike.
I believe, yes, I know the answer to this one.
Go on.
Thinking aloud. Tyburn. Tyburn's the answer.
Tyburn. Incorrect.
No!
The High Command.
It's not, that's correct.
No, it's near Sydney, Sussex College in Cambridge, funnily enough, which you mentioned earlier.
No, the rest of his body is buried at Tyburn then.
Well, I'm asking for where his head was.
Well, I don't know if they separate his head from his body, do I?
Well, they beheaded him. Right, final question.
No, they hanged him.
They hanged him and then beheaded him.
No, they didn't.
Yes,
because,
they did.
No, they didn't. You'd
No, they
understand.
did.
He was dead when
There's a plaque at the college.
He was dead when they hanged him. He had a
Yeah, I
normal...
know, they exhumed him.
Exactly.
I
He
know
had
that.
a
I
normal
said all
burial
that.
and they dug him up.
I said all that. Question number 10.
You look like you've been dug
so that
up.
you can get 1 out of 10. Who played King Charles I in the 2003 movie To Kill a King?
What's that got to do with it? That's got nothing to do with it whatsoever.
It was a movie about Oliver Cromwell.
No, it wasn't. It was a movie about King Charles I.
Oh, Oliver Cromwell's not in it then.
Sorry, what was the name of the film?
To Kill a King.
To Kill a King. That's
Yes.
about a king. He was Lord Protector.
Who killed him?
Who what?
Who killed him?
Killed who?
The king.
Who's playing the king?
I'm asking you that.
Oh, I see.
That's
Sorry.
the question.
You know, you've asked me 2 questions. Who killed him and who played him?
No, I didn't say who killed him.
Right.
I just asked you who killed him because you said it's got nothing to do with Oliver Cromwell.
Right. So
Obviously,
you want to
Oliver
know the
Cromwell
actor,
killed him.
the name of the actor?
The name of the actor that played King Charles I in the 2003 movie To Kill a King for 1 out of 10. Can you do it?
That would be...
Don't know, do you?
Yes, I do know. That would be... who's the guy who's the great Shakespearean actor? He's a great Shakespearean actor.
I don't know.
He is, you know.
Laurence Olivier.
No, you idiot. He was dead years ago before that. He died in about 1948, didn't he? No.
Laurence Olivier?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No, perhaps he was born in 1948. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see. I think it could be...
This is hopeless.
No, I tell you I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was... Peter O'Toole.
Incorrect.
No.
Incompetence of the High Command have tried my patience long
It's Rupert
enough.
Everett.
Rupert Everett. I've
So that
never heard
means,
of him.
I'm afraid,
Has he
Mr.
played
Parry,
anybody good?
I'm afraid, Mr. Parry,
Hey?
you have got once more 0 out of 10.
That's pathetic.
Which means out of the last 3 quizzes,
It's
you've
pathetic.
scored 1.5 out of 30.
We're going to have to revolutionise this
pathetic.
quiz. It's pathetic.
Absolutely hopeless.
I tell you what, the audience don't enjoy this. They don't enjoy
Oh, I think they do.
these ridiculous questions.
That was the Porky Quiz.
No, it wasn't.
This is Talk Sport.
Rubbish.
Milner crosses from inside the area. Header coming in. It's in the goal. Liverpool have scored. Dejan Lovren in added time has scored for Liverpool. There is delirium inside Anfield. Liverpool 4, Dortmund 3. 5-4 to Liverpool on aggregate. The referee's blown the whistle. It's all over. And fantastic scenes at Anfield. Nobody has left for home here. And the celebration will go long, long into the night.
Brilliant, outstanding, wonderful. I'm the man.
What a fantastic night that was at Anfield, of course, when Liverpool came back from being 2-0 down to beat Borussia Dortmund 4-3. Absolutely extraordinary night. Over to tonight down in Villarreal, of course, which will be a very, very tough place to go. Liverpool will take them on in the semi-final of the Europa League, the first leg. Let's talk to Jim Proudfoot, who's going to be in charge of commentating tonight, live right here on TalkSport. Jim, very good afternoon to you.
Mike and Mike, good afternoon to you guys.
What a fantastic result that was for Liverpool, not just in the sense of them winning the game, but in the way that Klopp sort of became even more cemented in the folklore of European competitions with Liverpool and somehow bringing them into a world where hope would suggest that it might triumph over experience.
Well, they're now the tournament favourites to win the Europa League on the back of that one performance, really, having knocked out the side that were the favourites. And as you say, it's the manner in which they did it. I mean, it is a night that anyone who was at Anfield will never forget. I mean, that's no exaggeration. You think back to some of the most famous nights of Liverpool's European past, and Etienne and Olympiacos and some of the big, dramatic victories that they've had at Anfield. But Dortmund is right up there with them, arguably the best of the lot because of the way they did it. And they had been written off. I was out for the first half hour of the game, heard the scoreline and had completely written them off and could not believe what was unfolding before my eyes. It was an absolutely scintillating performance and one that, as you say, has further endeared Jurgen Klopp to the Merseyside masses.
He has. I was going to say, Villarreal, though, very much seen as a bit of a cauldron to visit, and they'll be very, very excited about them hosting the game, and they'll be expecting to get a win, won't they, tonight?
I don't know. I mean, it's difficult. They've got a fantastic home record, particularly in Europe this season. They've built it around a very solid defensive base. They've played 26 games at home all season. They've only let in 12 goals, which is just a simply extraordinary record. And in Europe, they played 6 games at home and won all 6 and only conceded 1 goal in the process. So Liverpool, I think, will try and play very tight. They will be happy. If it ends 0-0 tonight, that's not a bad result for Liverpool. They've been in this situation before in the knockout stage of the Europa League this season. They went to Augsburg, drew 0-0, came back to Anfield and won. I think that a draw tonight will be a very good result for them.
Well, I was about to say, Jim, the only danger, I'm sure Mr. Klopp will keep the players' feet on the ground, but the only danger is the euphoria of the victory in the last round, such as it was, the great Anfield night, might just, give them a frailty as to how they weigh up tonight's opposition. I went to Villarreal, Jim, when Everton lost in that classic game. Do you remember when Duncan Ferguson had the goal ruled out and all that? And it really is a cauldron. I think they call it the Yellow Submarine, don't they, the ground, because it literally, it's covered in yellow tiles and the fans outside march up and down. It's fearsome and all that kind of stuff. So I agree with you. But do you think they'll be playing tonight with a majority of the eye on the second leg?
No, I don't. To be honest, Mike, I mean, they will look at tonight as being a very difficult encounter because it's played at a stadium that holds less than 25,000. So it's different to just about any other European tie that they've played. You're right about the Yellow Submarine. It's actually what they call the club rather than the stadium, which was a nickname that I think they had from the late 1960s, from pretty much when the song came out.
That's right.
Because they play in yellow. and bobbed up and down between the divisions. That was the sort of the genesis of the nickname. But it will be tight, and it will be a very difficult atmosphere. I mean, they've never got to a European final, Villarreal, so this is as big a game as they've had in their history. Just about. They played in the Champions League semi-final before, of course, when they played Arsenal 10 years ago, almost.
That was the year they beat Everton. They went on to the semi-finals. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you about the situation with Mamadou Sakho, Jim, because I know it's not it's going to have any effect on the game itself, although he's now been suspended for 30 days by UEFA. The fact that he tested positive for a substance after the Manchester United game in the Europa League, does that have any kind of bearing on anything? Because I know certainly there are people on social media who may not be the greatest experts in the world saying, why is Liverpool not being punished for this in addition to the individual?
No, it doesn't have any bearing. As I understand it, they are in no position, UEFA, to levy any kind of punishment on Liverpool in terms of excluding them from the competition, despite the fact that it was a test after that Manchester United game. He's got a 30-day ban, which, as I understand it, is a provisional ban that can be increased. I mean, It's just a holding ban, if you like. He's already subject, of course, to a club internal suspension. And it will be very interesting to see what punishment is levied when the authorities sit and meet and dish it out.
Sure. And Jurgen Klopp's been quoted as saying it's the best news that Christian Benteke is back. Those of us who've seen how he and Benteke have kind of interacted over the weeks and months might doubt the sincerity of that statement.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that Christian Benteke is necessarily Jurgen Klopp's favourite player of those that he inherited. I always get the impression that in the early days of watching Klopp watch Benteke, that he just felt as though he couldn't get into Benteke's head exactly what he wanted him to do in any given situation, and was frustrated then at the Belgians' inability to do what was asked. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there was a parting of the ways in the summer, but the bottom line is Origi's injured. So the fact that Benteke has come back to full fitness now is a boon for Liverpool, because he is an option on the bench. His goal-scoring record is superb. The problem is Benteke fitting into the way that Klopp likes to play, and probably Liverpool harnessing Benteke's own abilities at the moment.
Absolutely right. So you're in situ for a night of passion, of excitement. What are you expecting? Are you expecting Liverpool to be quite sort of defensive, expecting them to maybe hope to get a snatch and away goal?
I think that it will be a low-scoring encounter, and wouldn't surprise me if it was 0-0. I don't think that 0-0 would be a bad result for Liverpool at all. Certainly, if they could get a score draw, that would be an excellent result. And I think would certainly be good enough to get the job done over the two legs. Yeah. I'm not saying that 0-0 wouldn't be, but I think if it ends 1-1 tonight, then Liverpool are very much in the box seat ahead of the second leg at Anfield next week.
Great stuff, Jim. Thank you very much indeed. Good luck with it all. Villarreal against Liverpool tonight, Europa League semi-final, first leg, 8:05. We've got a few tweets to read out as well, which we'll do very shortly. One from Jamie, just give you a flavour. Porky says he's an expert on Cromwell. That's then followed by 0 out of 10.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the questions, and I've got a lot here.
Yeah. We haven't got time for them.
I'm telling you, a lot of people are pointing out that, getting embarrassing the way that MG is again stitching up Porky in these quizzes.
Yeah, all right.
Get it sorted, talk sport.
Stop complaining.
Yeah,
Stop complaining.
Discipline you.
Stop complaining. Game of moans once again. This is Talk Sport.
Don't forget to come back tomorrow for another sparkling, as fizzy as a bottle of champagne podcast from the two mics. I said plonk, plink, plonk, plum and pommy.
Who cares about John Major's teeth?
Well, I mean, they were very important. And I pay them way over the odds. I hope your engine overheats.
That's very unfair.
I hope your tyres go flat from waiting in traffic jams.
Every single home game, where are you? Because I've never seen you for this entire.
I'm not going to be there looking for you, believe me. He was a roundhead.
He could buy your book, though, can't he?
Yeah, you could actually.
He's written a book about Wayne Rooney called Rooney Tunes. Yes. You can get it for a penny on Amazon.
What an idiot. He's just a jabbering, jabber-napper.